So a cat can be a tree if we literally just change the definition. We invented language. Like, this is not rocket science.
Yeah, so again, I can agree to you, right, that the words themselves, right, are something that we created, right? But I'm not gonna agree, right, that the identity of the said object is what we created, right? Because I believe
No
that
one said that.
that hold on, let me finish. What host specifically said, right? And I hope somebody has this on recording. Host specifically told me that identity is created by us. Now, if
Yeah.
identity is created by us, then identity is falsifiable. Or I want let me not use
Identity
falsifiable because
doesn't
he doesn't want to
have
use
a
that.
falsifiability.
Let me not use false. Let me not use false. Let me not use falsifiable.
Why do
Let
you
me
keep
use
using
more
this
as
word wrong?
I'm not actually.
You are.
So no, I'm not because it's not truth that.
Are you talking on a phone right now?
No, I'm talking on my microphone. But
Is your
when
microphone plugged into a phone?
yes, no.
Okay,
Let me
fantastic.
finish.
Is
That's
that
how
a
Oh
dishonest
my
he is.
god, bro.
uh, he wants to distinguish between what's plugged into his phone when he knows exactly what the question was. That's crazy.
When things are
Identity doesn't
subjective,
have
right? Hold
objective
on. When
truth.
things are okay, so thank you. So thank you. So that means, right, that what we identify a cat to be, a tree can be, right? Which means that a tree
Not
can have the same
not
No,
identity state
come
as a
on.
cat
No,
under
not
his
because
at the
worldview.
not at
we
the same
already have
time.
an
No,
understanding of
yes,
a
literally at the same
cat,
exact time.
dickhead.
Because under your worldview, the laws of logic are
He,
subjective, which
this is
also
really
means the
sad.
exact same thing that they're
This
not
is
truth apt.
this is quite sad.
It's a shit show.
Yeah.
Bro.
It's crazy that he can't grasp this. This is actually really easy stuff.
Okay, let me try
Easy.
this.
You're
Okay, let me
speaking
try this.
nonsense.
Let's
Like,
You
say
know,
what?
that English. Okay, info profit.
This
Let's
has
say
nothing
that
to do with
English.
English.
Let's say yes, it does. It's
No, it does
literally about
not.
language and identity. You can't have an
No, we're not talking
identity.
about
Oh
language.
my
He brought
God!
up language.
Stop! You said that Justin is saying that identity was created. It literally is. What something is, aside from its physical
Lord.
characteristics or the accumulation of its physical characteristics, being described is literally its identity. Like, everything
So
exists.
wait.
We know that, hold on. We know that everything has ontology and characteristics, but the identity is given to them by us using language. That's the difference here.
So
So they
okay, so
don't have
Venus.
identity. Oh my God, if you just shut up
Oh my
and
bad. Go
try and
ahead.
put together the pieces, you might understand that this is not that complicated. If we destroy every single identity in the English language, yes, you can call something that has branches, leaves, does photosynthesis, and is a specific type of something we call a plant, you can define that as a cat. That's literally fine. But when you're speaking English, these words already have a meaning. If you want to make up your own language, that's fine. But English already exists, and trees do not have four legs. Trees are not mammals. Therefore, they cannot be cats. Okay, they're
Yeah.
not feline either. That's simple.
Oh, okay, so Venus, I don't disagree with you when you say that, right? But the moment that you say that that identity states are subjective, you can't hold to that. That's what we're saying here, right?
What
The
do you
reason why
think
you
an
let
identity
me let
state
me let me
is?
what I believe an identity state is, I believe an identity state is a bundle of properties that are within a subject,
That would be
right?
wrong. That would be its ontology, not its
Oh, okay,
identity.
okay. Then what is identity?
I just told you identity are descriptors that we give accumulating these natural traits in mind. Because there's a distinction between these different things. So we can't just like say, oh, everything has ontology, everything is everything. We've described them, we've identified them. When you pull out your identification, that says human, 5'2", for you at least, male. Okay, that's your
Okay, so
characteristics, and
you
we've
didn't disagree with
labeled
anything I
them.
said.
We've invented. Oh my God!
You
You
didn't
know
disagree
what?
with anything I said.
No, but for some reason you
You
think that
said the same
Justin is
exact thing
speaking
I
another
said.
language.
No. You, Venus. By the way, you just said the same exact thing I just said, right? All you did was said it in
I
layman
literally
terms.
didn't, but
Yes,
that's
huh?
fine.
Yes.
definitely
So,
did.
for example, me being 5'2" or whatever you want to call it, male with dreads, right? These are all a bundle of properties that make me who I am. That's what properties are
Who
simply
are you?
characteristics or traits of a subject.
Who are you?
Who am I?
Yeah.
I am info.
Yeah, your info. Who gave you that identity?
Who gave me the identity
Yeah.
of info?
Yeah.
God.
God
Like
did.
what?
God spoke to you and said your info? Or did you
No,
create that
God gave
name?
me it. No. So all
Did you create
identity
that
states are
name?
So all our identity states. Yeah, I can create the name, right? But the identity of who I am as a
That's
person,
what it
is
means.
it's completely different. No, that's not what it means.
You can
Just because
create the name.
anybody can have the name info. That doesn't make them. That doesn't make us
Yeah.
similar.
Oh my god.
So
So
yeah,
you're
the
just
name.
being obtuse
The
on purpose.
no. Oh my god. The name itself, right, is not the identity of the said subject.
Exactly.
Okay,
That's what we're
then.
trying
So
to say.
I
So
never disagree with that. I literally told
You
you that.
literally we're arguing over
What I
like the
specifically said I said I don't disagree, right? That the names themselves, right, are subjective. What I disagree with, right, is the moment that you say that identity states are
the
subjective.
identity is the names that
The
we give
identity
it.
is
What
not
don't
the
you seem
name.
to understand,
The
Kai?
identity is not
How
the
am I meant
name.
to? Okay, how
Hold
am I
Venus,
meant to?
Venus,
If I'm
Venus.
no, let me tell you. Let
We
me
have to
tell you why this
backtrack.
is
We have to
important.
backtrack.
No, I'll tell you why this is important.
Oh
If
my
I'm,
god.
let's just say, if I'm in the concrete city of New York, and we don't have any languages, and the things that we want to talk about aren't in front of us. How are we meant to convey the identity of these things to one another if we don't have them in front of us and we don't have language? How are we meant to do that?
How are we meant to do that?
Yeah,
I don't know.
we can't. It's why we have identities and labels. It's why we have identity
Venus,
statements
Venus,
to refer
Venus.
to things. Stop saying you're
I got a
like
question.
the
I got
worst
a question.
student ever.
I have a clarifying question. Are you asking me, right? How we'll be able to tell each other how we'll be able to tell each other that we're different people?
How we'll be able to identify things that aren't in front
Hold
of
on,
us
hold on, hold
without
on.
language.
We don't have to identify things in front of us
We
for us
don't
to have
have to, but it's
identity.
in my fucking analogy. How are we going to do it
Oh, okay,
without language?
what I'm saying is your analogy is disanalogous. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
You're a moron.
I'm a moron. That's kind of
Why?
funny.
he's like, if I just misuse words enough, then I'll sound smart.
I'm not dismissing any words.
Like, oh my
I'm,
god.
I'm actually giving you the best and the easiest way to understand. I don't even know how you don't understand anything I'm saying. It's actually pretty simple, right? These are first off, these are theories of identity. You haven't even
Look,
given me a
it
theory of
seems like
identity.
you don't understand what we're saying because
one,
you've called
I'm
my
not. No,
analogy
no. I took
disanalogous, even though it was literally just a question. Like
no,
that's
no.
very much
You
possible.
you
But if
said
you're in,
it's an
oh my
analogy.
god, can you just like shut up for a
Well,
second?
you kind of
My
interrupted me in the middle of me
analogy, my
speaking. So
analogy happens in reality, okay? We tell each other and we identify things that other people haven't seen or understood all the fucking time. Like if you're in America and you've never seen a kangaroo, but you've only seen it online, like how are we meant to talk about this thing that hops around is
you
from
don't have to
Australia?
talk about it,
And,
right,
okay,
Venus?
but
My thing about this, Venus, is that like
you're missing
I
the
don't. I'm not
point.
Venus. I
Info,
don't
you're
disagree.
missing the
Oh my god,
point. I'm
Venus.
not saying we have to
Okay.
talk about it, but when people want to identify things that aren't right in front of them, that's why identity is important because it's accumulating these sets that they have physically and putting it into a label that we can later refer to without having it physically in front of us. That's why we have identity statements. No one's saying that these things don't have ontology. They do, and we categorize their ontology under a label that we call their identity. Your ontology includes your physical attributes like your height, your sex, your etc. But if you're not right in front of me, like Justin isn't, and I say, oh, we're talking about, oh, Justin. And you're like, oh, who's Justin? I will tell you his identity. That's how we have it. That's the point. It's just a linguistic tool. I don't know why it's like, why you're lopping on it. It's literally just a
Uh,
linguistic tool.
so,
Like,
so, 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 yeah, Venus. Like I've already told you this. I don't know how many times I gotta tell you this, right, Venus? I don't disagree with anything you're saying when you say that, right? The only part that I disagree with, right, is that host specifically said that the ability to know ontology, right, is
I didn't say
subjective.
anything about that. I didn't say the
Yes, you
ability to
did.
know
Hold on,
ontology. I did not.
hold on. Do we have to record this? That's exactly what you said,
No,
right?
no, I
And
said
another thing that you said.
ontology is defined by us.
So okay, everything has ontology, right? It's all defined by humans, right?
If it exists, it has ontology, and we get to identify what those are.
dude,
Okay,
we
I guess I
invented.
hold on. I guess hold on. I guess I can agree to that if you want to say that we can identify. I don't disagree with that, right?
Well,
But the
we
problem,
create the
the
identity
part,
then.
oh my God, no, let me stop. No, we don't create the identity because identity is a bundle of properties. We don't create properties,
Who
Do
decided
we
where the
need
boundaries
language?
are? Yeah, who decided where the
huh?
boundaries are?
Who decide? What do you mean? Who decided what the boundaries
Who
are? I don't know
decided
what you
that
mean by
these
that question.
specific properties require an identity?
that these specific, because everything that exists, right? If it exists, has to have
I
some
said
type of
who?
identity.
Who decided
What do you mean
that
who?
certain properties needs a name?
Who decided that? That's
Yeah.
not something being decided. That's not something
Yeah,
that's
we
decided.
did. Humans decided that when we
No,
see
that's not. Hold on.
something with particular
That's not something.
properties, we're going to call it something. So, for example,
The
in some
oh my
places, a
god.
rock like this, we might describe
Oh,
as sandstone because it has properties that
I got a
we
question.
decided are sandstone.
I,
So the problem that you have here is
oh my
we
god.
decided where the boundaries are for the
I have a
properties to
question.
create the identity. We decided
I
it.
have a, I have a
Just
question,
wait,
host.
just wait, just
Well,
answer this
if
first.
there's no
Answer this first.
if there's no name for it, right? Does it have
Mate,
identity
just
still?
you see this question that I'm gonna ask you falls into it. Can we identify things without language?
We don't have to identify things for them to
I
have
didn't say
identity.
we have to. Can you
Okay,
just
so
answer the
Venus,
fucking
Venus,
question?
so Venus, so
No,
Venus,
stop being. You're actually pissing me off. Can we
because you're
identify
asking
things?
irrelevant
No,
questions,
it's
Venus.
not irrelevant. It's
It
you're
has
gonna
nothing to do
make
with
me
what we're
break my
talking about.
iPad.
Oh, okay, okay. I'll
This,
answer the question, Venus.
dude,
I'll
can
answer
you
the question.
just can you
I'll answer
just
the question.
stop
I'll
being
answer the
so
question.
like just stop being so what's the word pedantic? Okay,
Because you're
stop
asking
telling me my
irrelevant.
questions. Stop telling me my questions are unnecessary because they're not, and you're running from the point.
I'll answer.
Can we
I'll answer
identify?
happily.
Okay, that's okay. Can we describe ontology and identify things without language?
No,
Okay, and who invented language?
humans.
Okay, so you literally just proved our point. We're the ones who identified these things. We give them identity and
No, we
ontology.
no no no.
The only thing that exists, the only thing
That's
that
no.
exists, the only thing
No.
that exists, the only thing that exists without us inventing language is just simply reality. Reality doesn't have any names, it doesn't have any labels, and it doesn't have an said
Reality is a
identity.
label, by the way. Like, what?
Okay, yeah, I'm speaking English. I can't refer to it. Thank you for proving my point. I can't refer to reality without an identity or a label that we've invented using language. We invented it, okay? We
Venus.
called Earth Earth, and we have different
How
languages.
many
The
Venus?
fact
How
that
many
we have
times do I
different
have to
languages,
Venus? How many times do I have to tell you I never disagree with that? What you
but
just
you
I never
keep
disagree with
saying
that.
that we didn't invent the identity or ontology. You
Because
keep saying that we didn't
inventing
invent it.
identity because yeah, Venus, inventing identity, Venus, and identifying things are two completely different things.
What's the difference?
Yeah. So when we're speaking of identity, right? We're speaking like I've already told you what identity was. When we're speaking of identity, we're speaking of a bundle of properties within a subject. When we're saying identifying this right here, we're speaking of what we're basically saying is that we can basically experience, right? The very bundle of properties that there is. That's what we're saying when we say identify. When we say identify.
That was just like nonsensical.
Nonsensical. How is that nonsensical?
You don't seem to understand what you're doing, and then you're saying you're not doing it. Like you don't seem to understand you're doing the exact same thing that we're doing, then claiming that you're not doing it.
No,
Like
it's
you're
because
literally
so Venus, it's because you're not understanding the position that's here, right? I don't know if you came late to it, right? But the position, right, was the
I've been
identity
listening.
is was the identity is subjective. So right, so what makes you who you are is subjective. Your name doesn't
Yeah,
make you who you are because everybody can have your name. So obviously
yeah.
we don't consider name to be to be an identity state. We've already talked
Well,
about this.
okay, so I'm not gonna repeat myself anymore after this. Your identity includes a set of characteristics that occur to you within reality. We define what a characteristic is, and we define those characteristics using language that we invented. No one is saying that we invented you, genius. We're saying that we invented the concept of your ontology and your identification.
Okay, then
When we
so
look at your literal
clarifying question.
ID, when we look at
Venus,
your
clarifying question.
ID, when we look at your
Venus,
ID
clarifying
and your
question,
when we
please.
look at your ID
Oh
and
my
your
god.
identification, that includes your name, knucklehead.
Can I ask a clarifying question? Right.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so great. So are you saying right that prior to us making a definition for the characteristics, are you saying those characteristics don't exist?
No.
So they
And
still
I've
do exist,
already
right?
no, yeah,
So let
of
me.
course
So okay.
it bro. I
So
told
great,
you
Venus.
that these aren't
I haven't. Hold on. I
identical
haven't. Hold on.
towards
I haven't. Hold on.
identity.
Hold on. I'm not finished yet. So right. So if that is the case, right, all you're telling right now, Venus, is that identity do exist, right? Even if the
No.
characteristics
No,
themselves. Hold on. Let me finish.
Nope.
Even if the characteristics themselves, right, are not yet defined. That's what you just told me.
Nope.
Why?
I've
Because those
already
characteristics still exist.
I've already told you that the characteristics and the identity are not the same thing. Okay?
Yes.
The identity is categorizing these characteristics, okay? So the identity doesn't exist until people who want to characterize the characteristics do, and those people are us, okay? It's that
Okay, so
simple, love.
then so what you just told me, right, is that without a person without a person being able to define these characteristics, right, the identity
They
state
would
itself just
still exist.
yeah, yeah, no, that's not what you just told me, Venus. That's
I
not what you just told
literally
me.
just told
No,
you
no, no,
that
that's
there's a
not no, no,
difference
that's
between
not
the
what you just told me.
character. Look,
You
I'm falling
told
asleep. You're just like too dumb. Like, I don't know what to tell
you
you.
told me what you told me, Venus, right? Is that basically the characteristics, right? In order for us to have before the characteristics are being defined, right? You said that we yet don't have an identity yet until those characteristics have been defined.
Yeah.
Because that's what the definition of
Okay
identity
then.
is. The
Okay,
definition of the
that's
characteristics.
no no
Holy
no no.
shit.
But what you said, Venus, right? You also said that these characteristics, right, themselves exist. These characteristics themselves exist prior to it being defined.
Yes, but when
Okay, then
we label them,
Not the identity.
when we
Not
label
the
them,
so great. Okay,
not
so
the
when we label
identity.
them,
yeah, but hold on, but
when we
we've already
label
discussed.
them,
Hold on, we've
when
already
we
discussed.
label them, they become the identity, okay?
Hold on, but
We
hold on.
label
Hold on,
them,
but yeah,
okay?
hold on. Oh my God, we already discussed, right? The identity states, right, are simply just a bundle of properties, right? Which I already consider the properties to be the characteristics or the traits, right? So
Why
if
would
hold on. So if
an
these bundles of
identity
properties,
state?
if these bundles of properties exist prior to it being
No,
defined, that
we
means hold on.
created the bundle. We
Oh my
define
God.
what the bundle is.
So okay, so great. So humans created hardness.
We
Humans created
we
is that what you're saying?
created we created
Did humans
the
create hardness?
ident. I don't know why you're. Do you
Humans
want me
create
to
the
answer
color
your fucking
red?
question or not? We
Yes, go
defined
ahead,
all those
please.
things. We created those identities.
Before we define them, did they exist?
Did what
No
exist? The identity?
shit.
No.
Oh, okay. No, hardness. The
Hardness.
characteristics.
Hardness?
Does it exist
At
prior?
no point in
Does it
time,
exist
at no
prior
point in
to
time
our
did
definition?
anyone say that a characteristic didn't exist. We're saying the identity didn't exist.
Oh my
You're
God!
not
But
following at
Does he
I'm
all.
pretty
not
sure.
seem to
Hold on,
understand
hold
the
on.
difference
I'm
between
pretty sure
the
she said.
like?
Hold on. I'm
Does
pretty
he
sure
not
she
seem
said
to
the
understand
identity,
the
He
right?
has no
difference?
idea
Does
where
She
he
he
said.
not seem
is.
to?
Hold on.
Like
She
he's
said.
Does
She
he seem to
said.
completely.
understand the
Oh my
difference
God.
between the identity of a rock being called rock and a physical fucking rock? So every time he thinks of a rock, there's a literal rock in his head. Like he doesn't
Yeah.
seem to understand the distinction here. Like we
And
create the boundaries, dude. Like we create the separations between objects by distance. Like I sit on my bed, like together, it is a human sitting on their bed. That's the identity of the situation that's going on. But separately from that, we redefine the boundaries again and we say, hey, this is a human and this is a bed. Okay? It's that simple. This is a human, this is a bed.
My
Together,
God,
human on
bro.
bed.
I
Me
gave
and Justin
5
are different
objections to this
people.
already,
Me and
bro.
Justin are different people. That's Justin,
You
that's
have no way to
Venus. The
justify that, Venus.
identity, okay. So I'm my bed.
Oh my God.
Okay, exactly. So I
This
do
has to
have a
be the
reason. I do have a
most.
way to justify that.
No, you
The
don't,
fact
because
that
it's not true that.
we create the boundaries between
yeah.
different objects that we
Holy.
decide to call them
How do you,
individuals, and we call them to like
Venus?
things to like. Oh my God, shut up! We call them
Venus.
groups
How
and
do
we
you
call them
justify?
individuals. We define the boundaries. We call them groups and we call them individuals. Me and Justin together would be a pair of people. That would be our identity if the boundary is now around us, okay? The identity, if I put the boundary between me and my bed, the identity is now Venus and her bed. But if I make the identity, the combination of us, if I set the boundary to that, it is a human on her bed. Okay? Human in bed, human on her bed. You see how we set the boundaries and use that to distinguish between different things and define them either adjacent to one another or together? That's just how characteristics work, okay? And it's solely for the purpose of language and referentials, okay?
So
That's
Venus,
that simple.
Venus, I don't understand. I don't understand how you not understand this, right? You're saying that you can.
Justin,
Hold on, let me
has he
finish.
proven God exists yet?
So
Oh,
yes, I
not
have
even
already.
close.
By the way, by the
He
way,
thinks
Okay,
oh my
can we?
God, oh my God, oh my
he
God, oh my
thinks
God, oh my God.
that
This has to be the
if a
most.
god is possible, then it must exist. But he actually wouldn't figure out the problem with if a god is not possible, then it doesn't exist. He couldn't figure out where that contradiction was. He
So
kept saying there was a
okay,
contradiction, but he couldn't do it. And then I tried to inform him that if
This
you're
is
just
so
saying it
frustrating.
exists because you defined it as necessary, well, I can define anything as necessary. If
That's
the
not what we
definition
said.
is the only thing that makes it exist, well, then guess what? My fucking necessary rock exists.
I can clearly see why like you're so low on the tier list. By the way,
Okay,
can you
so
Low on the
please can
tier
you please
list.
listen? Can you please
I
listen
don't
to
know.
what I'm saying?
Info. I
I'm
don't know
gonna
if you
say
know
that.
this. How
Hold
many
on, hold
people do
on.
you think tune into my stream every night?
400. You do know why? You know why?
400?
It's
Are you
because
serious?
for
Do you
I can
realize
say
that?
I can say
Do you realize that
400.
every
I can say
stream
a thousand.
I have over 2,000 people watching on YouTube? You know
Okay,
there are
so great, great.
2,000 people that
Oh
are going
my
to see
God!
this.
Can I finish speaking? Now,
can we? No, you
I
can't.
can,
No,
I
you
can,
can't.
I can easily
Justin,
explain.
is it
Oh
okay?
my
Justin, is
God!
it okay if I redirect this back to the existence for God?
It would be fun to actually get back to the ontological argument,
So
or
yeah, so I'm gonna.
Yeah.
whatever you
Oh
Okay.
think
my
the argument should
God!
be.
I
All
gotta.
right.
Can I finish?
Okay. So let's
So
go
now,
back to
but
this.
yeah, yeah. So
No,
now
I don't
before,
care.
so
No,
now
I don't care.
before,
Someone mute
now,
him.
so now I'm
Someone
gonna,
mute him.
now I'm gonna just. Oh my God. Okay,
Someone
go
mute
ahead.
him. Okay, so we're going back to whether your God exists, okay? Or whether he's imaginary, all
Y'all
right?
gotta be the
So
most dumbest
things that
motherfuckers I've ever
only
seen in my life.
exist, so
Holy
info. So
shit.
as Justin was talking to you before about, you can make a logical argument about poop being like a god. You can say poop is a god. Wait, poops are gods. This is a poop, therefore it's a
That's a
god.
contradiction.
But okay, no, it's not a contradiction, you
Yes, it is. I
knucklehead.
can give you the P,
Okay,
not P.
but no, I'm not interested in that. That was an example. Okay,
Okay, then.
I'm
So
trying
then
to
don't bring it
highlight
up.
to you the difference. If you can close your gob for a second, I'm trying to highlight to you the difference between things that arguments that are sound and arguments that are valid.
You
Okay,
can't
that
tell me
was a
that 'cause I already
valid.
know this, but okay.
That was a. Anyways, I can't hear the mumbling. That was a valid syllogism,
No, it
but it
wasn't. It was
wasn't
a no, no, it
sound.
wasn't. No, it wasn't.
Okay,
No, it
it
wasn't.
was valid.
No, it
Okay, it
wasn't.
was valid because there was no problem in the
Yes, it
inference
is a
tool that I
contradiction.
was using.
It's a
Okay, but it
contradiction.
doesn't. Okay, but that's something that you make post hoc. Okay, and you say that because
What?
God is already this and because poop is already that, that they can't be one another. Okay, but the
No.
argument is still valid. And I can use anything. I can use water bottles are plastic. This is a water bottle, therefore it's plastic. You're missing the fucking point. We're talking about it being sound now. Now we need to demonstrate its existence in reality outside of your syllogism. Can you do that?
Yeah. So okay. So
Okay,
great.
let's hear it. Let's hear the demonstration
So
that
for
God exists in reality.
okay. So for one, all right. If something is so, what we're saying when we say premise one, right? We're saying that we're asking you if God is possible, which means that if you grant the proposition, right, that God is possible, right?
I don't.
Then let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish. Now,
Okay.
if you grant the proposition that God is possible, right? Right? Then what happens? You follow from premise two, right? Which is that if God is possible, right, then this God must exist in all possible worlds. While this would be the case, right, is because we're asking you, right, is if a necessary being is possible, right? If a necessary being is possible, it's the same thing as saying the necessary being the being exists. That's what
No,
it
it's
means.
not.
That's what it's saying. Yes, it is because what's possibly
Possibility
necessary is
will
necessary.
literally never
Do you
be
know?
the same as
Are you
existence.
are
And
you
again,
aware? That's how I've asked you.
I tried to describe it
See,
to
look,
you,
he
and
interrupted
you
me.
weren't able to
See, you asked for
actually
justification.
comprehend.
You asked for
Yeah, you weren't able to comprehend, right? So, again, the only reason why you think that this is the case is because you defined it as necessary. You created the description of necessary. That's the only reason why this argument you think works. But you can describe anything as necessary.
So the thing is with his argument is I sort of understand what he's saying, but I don't like to use because when he says that it exists in some possible reality, we don't think that there's any alternate possible realities. So he's kind of just saying that this thing could exist, but they like to smuggle in it exists in some possible world. But you'd have to demonstrate that this possible world exists. You have to demonstrate
Right.
that it's this world. Like no one cares if you want to say possibility means it exists in some possible world. Yeah, and so does like my ass being on wings exist in some possible world. And if it's possible my ass has wings, then that's in every possible world. Like
No, no,
that's
no, no.
stupid. No one
That's
cares
a
about that. So can you no, that's literally what you
that,
okay.
no. That's
So I
just a
don't know if you know what you're
misinterpretation,
saying
bro.
anymore, but that's completely fine. So now
No, no,
can you
no. That's a
demonstrate that okay, that's
misinterpretation.
okay. That's okay. That's fine. But now can you demonstrate that this God exists in all possible worlds? Because I don't grant that it's possible. Can you do that?
Okay, this now you have a burden of proof that you have to demonstrate to me,
What's the burden
right?
of proof?
That there's a P and not P within it, within
I
God
never
existing in
said
the
that. I
most
never said
fundamental.
that. I said that I
Hold on.
don't think
Yes,
that
you
you
did. You just only
demonstrated.
got.
No, I said that I don't believe that this God exists in all possible worlds. So you need to
Okay, that
demonstrate it. It's literally
Venus,
your premise. You
Venus,
need to
Venus,
demonstrate your first. Hey,
Venus.
no,
Let me finish
hey,
my
hey,
thought
no, hey,
process
no,
before you
hey,
reply.
hey, no, no, no. I'm not interested in your waffling. You take years to say a
I
single
wasn't even
thing with
waffling.
substance.
I was just
So
gonna.
can you
Okay, go
show
ahead.
us your first premise that God exists in all possible worlds or any
That's not even
possible
the first
world?
premise.
Can you? It literally is. It's right up there.
It's the second
P1.
premise, by the way.
Okay, so what's the first premise then?
The first premise is if is that God is possible. That's the
Okay,
first premise.
demonstrate that. Demonstrate
Yeah.
that.
So okay. So good, great. So when we say that something's possible, right? We're talking about metaphysical possibility, right? Metaphysical possibility simply means what can actually exist in the most fundamental way. So for example, right? Water is metaphysically what for water to be anything besides H2O is metaphysically impossible, right? Because it contradicts the nature of what it means to be water, right? Now it is
Okay.
logically hold on. Now it is logically possible for water to not be H2O, but it's not metaphysically possible, right? So all we're saying, right, is that we're using basically a prima facie variation of evidence here, which is basically that the reason why we can hold to our position is because our position holds stronger evidence, right? So unless I'm given a contradiction, right, I have no reason to invalidate
You
my premise one.
you don't have to have a contradiction. You actually just proved our point.
That's the whole point.
Like
That's the
the
whole point. That's the whole point of premise one. You have to
what
show
is what
contradiction
is
if you deny
water?
it.
What's water?
What is water? Water
Yeah,
is H2O.
the- not quite. It's made of H2O.
That's what water
Do
is.
you think one H2O molecule constitute what we refer to as water?
One H2O
We would say
molecule.
it, we could say it's a molecule of water, but like water itself has a
That's
definition,
the
right?
most
Have you ever
has a
pointed at a
definition.
single
Yes,
H2O
it's
molecule?
no, I've never pointed at a single H2O molecule. No.
Okay, so we defined in English like the boundary of water is
Yeah, but
typically
but you're
it's a
not. Yeah, but
collective
this shows
noun.
that
It refers
this
to a
is a
multiplicity
misinterpret.
of H2O molecules.
This is a misinterpretation of like exactly what I was saying, right?
Look,
So
even
So
if
what
I
I'm
was
you
saying,
to,
actually
right?
so you're still
What I said,
proving
right? Hold on, let me
you're
finish.
still you're still I wasn't done finishing my statement. You're still proving our point, right? The boundary of what you're describing as water in this analogy is the boundary that we created. Like we're giving it the identity. So when we give something the identity and we all agree that that is the identity, obviously it can't not be not that identity. We gave it to it. What are you going to say, Venus?
look, I'm
Not even what
willing
we're talking
to,
about.
because I
What?
don't want to lop on possibility, even though I'm just going to say God as in a being that created the universe. I'm happy to grant that that's a possibility. Now you need to show us that that is actually happening. Because it's also possible that my ass has wings and no one knows about it because I haven't shown it online. So it has wings. That's a possibility. And literally anything that doesn't posit a contradiction logically in its ontology is possible. So I'm not interested in pure possibilities like that. That's irrelevant. We need to get to the actual. I already told you about validity versus soundness. That would be valid. You know, asses have wings. I have an ass, therefore it has wings. Whatever. Now we need to understand how this thing exists in the actual. Okay? So I'm happy with your first premise that this God being a creator of the universe, just that, not necessarily the Christian God, is possible. Is that okay? Your first premise, being defined as a God that just creates.
Okay, so great. You granted the first premise. Now the second premise, right?
Hey, did you hear me?
Yes.
He didn't.
So you're okay with me defining the God that you're talking about in the first premise as a being that just created the universe?
Well, I believe that God is a maximally great being. So I believe that
Okay.
God. So I believe that is a possibility that God created the universe.
What do
There's
you mean by
there's nothing wrong
maximally
with it.
great? What do you mean by that?
That means that it has the utmost. That it has all properties to the utmost potential.
So it can essentially, so you're saying that when you say maximally great, you mean, so all properties to the maximum potential. What does that mean?
To the utmost potential.
To the
So
utmost potential. What does that mean?
for example, like if you're a maximally great being, right, you must be all knowing, right? Because it's the simple fact that the utmost potential in knowing, right, is all knowing, which means you can't lack any knowledge. So like
Okay.
I would apply this to like I would apply like properties such as like maximally no to being all powerful, all good,
What is
Okay.
um
knowledge?
Is gayness a
all
property?
knowing.
Is gayness a property?
Is gayness a property?
Mm-hmm.
It's an essential property. Actually,
Oh
no,
yeah.
it's not. It's not. It's
So
not
is
it's
God
an accidental
also?
property. My
So
bad.
is God also
It's an
maximally gay?
accidental. It's an accidental property. My bad.
Accidental property. So what would be the distinction between having maximal knowledge and having maximal homosexuality?
Because I don't know what maximum homosexuality is.
Yeah, well, it's literally
If
like being
hold
as
on, hold on. Yeah,
attracted. It's
if you're
literally
homo,
being as attracted to men as one could possibly be. So like
oh, okay.
you're the
So what does
weakest.
that
So
mean?
it's like
That
you're the
sounds
weakest.
subjective.
So it's like you're the weakest on your knees. Yeah, well, so is our understanding of knowledge because that requires the brain as well. So I don't know if you want to take it there. So being maximally gay means that you're the weakest on your knees and you get turned on the most by men. So that has ontology. And if your God is a maximally great being, he's also maximally gay. Are you happy
Yeah,
with that?
yeah. So no, I would just.
Okay. Oh,
I can
so
explain why.
so he's not
this
maximally
has to be.
great?
This has to be there. This has to be the most craziest thing I've heard in my life.
But you said he's maximally everything. So that
Oh
would be
yeah.
he's
So let me finish.
maximally gay,
Yeah. So let me finish.
maximally evil.
So
But it
so I have to
sounds
finish.
like
No,
yeah.
there's no such thing. So okay.
That's okay. I'm happy with a maximally gay
Can I
God.
please
That's
answer
fine.
the question?
Oh, calm down, G.
Please.
Like
Can I please
that's
answer the
fine.
question?
If you're
Because you asked me the
maximally gay
question three,
God,
four. Oh my
like
God.
that's fine.
She's
Go
throwing me
ahead.
matter, bro. She's throwing matter,
That's
bro.
okay. Totally. I'm literally just giving you a definition, but you don't want it
You're
now.
throwing me
That's
matter
fine.
right now.
That's fine.
Can I finish?
Totally meta. Yeah, yeah. Tell us about how your God is maximally gay.
See, you're throwing matter, so it's not maximally
It's
gay
not
because
meta.
let me finish.
Just to be sure, you guys got my live restricted right now.
I told
What?
you. I told you.
You can't say gay.
Please
No.
hold on because I'm trying to have this conversation.
You can't, Justin. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Did I get it restricted on YouTube too?
No, YouTube's not that uptight about words.
Okay. I'm sorry. I say it all the time on my lives, and I didn't know that you weren't allowed to say it. That's crazy. Is it only 10 minutes?
I didn't say for how long, it just says it's restricted.
Okay. I'm sorry. I won't say that word. Y'all should have told me this. Oh my God. Okay, so I'll just say rainbow instead. So being rainbow, you can be maximally rainbow, okay? You can be the weakest on your knees and the most, enticed towards males, okay? So what would be the distinction between that and having
Oh my God. Okay, great. So to be maximally rainbow, right? It simply just means to be attracted to another schmex, right? The reason why we consider it to be like some type of accidental property, right, is because of this property is dependent on contingent members, right? And since its property is dependent on contingent members, right, the property itself would also be
sorry?
contingent.
It would be contingent, it would be a property contingent on a universe,
No, I said on members. So
on
for
members.
example, yeah. So for example, like humans, right? The only way for us to be a rainbow, right, is if there exist other contingent beings, right?
Wait,
That's
Who
not
have
true.
Info,
okay
are
then.
you?
So can
I want to just ask a clarifying question. I think what you're saying is the difference between like a property and an accidental property is an accidental property could have been different.
yes.
Okay, so what you think a property is, you're actually meaning an essential property, a necessary property.
No, an essential property, right, is like properties like such as like necessary existence and things like that, or like
That's what it
being
said.
human is also being human is also an essential property, also. Yeah.
Well,
I think he's talking really
think
low
so,
because
but-
he has no idea what he's talking about.
right.
No, I'm talking.
So-
I'm talking low because of the simple fact that like you guys barely let me speak. So it's
So
like, come on now.
I don't know how knowledge is not an accidental property.
How knowledge
Could
is
my
not
knowledge have been
property?
different?
Because your knowledge, yeah, because you have ignorance.
So, okay, so knowledge is an accidental property. Knowledge is an
you
accidental
have-
property.
if you-
I can have some or I can have little. In fact, I can have none.
If you have any type of ignorance, right?
Okay, so there you
I'm gonna say
go.
that you have
So
some type of accidental
God doesn't
property.
have to be all knowing then, because it's an accidental property according to you.
No. To be all knowing is not accidental.
You just said it was.
To be all knowing means that you know all
Is
two
knowledge an
propositions.
accidental property? Yes. That means maximizing knowledge
No,
is
no,
not a
no,
thing.
no,
You don't
no,
have to do
no,
that.
not
It's not
all-
necessary
oh my
because
God.
it's accidental.
Oh my God, bro.
You can cry all you want. I'm just responding to your actual logic.
Yeah, I wouldn't agree that all forms of knowledge, right, is an accidental property. I believe that
What
I
form
believe
of
it's an
knowledge is
accidental property.
necessary?
What form? All being all knowing.
Why is that necessary?
Why is it necessary?
Yeah.
Because
You get
yeah,
to
because
say
it
it's
exists.
necessary.
Because it exists solely in a maximally great being.
Prove that. Support that. That's what you're
That
trying
it,
to
that
prove.
it only exists within a max.
That's your conclusion. You can't say that as your premise. What's your conclusion? Now you're begging the question. Support the premise, not the conclusion, that a maximally great
Support
being has to have maximal knowledge.
that it has that because it's a maximally great being
So
has all
what?
powers to the utmost
Okay,
potential.
then it's maximally rainbow. Then
No, it's not.
yeah, it is. You just
No, it's
described.
It's
not.
literally the same
You
thing.
said an accidental property is something that could have been different, and we brought up
There's no
rainbow,
there's
and
there's
you're saying
no
no, that can't be
there's
the
no
case. He can't
there's
be
no there's
maximally
no
rainbow. What the
there's
fuck are you
no
doing, Prophet?
because
He can't be maximally rainbow because that's an accidental property. Those were your
to be
fucking
maximally to
words.
be
So what I'm showing you is that you think knowledge is something that's necessary, but it's not. Knowledge is an accidental property as well. So what you don't understand is the analogy. Knowledge and being rainbow are accidental properties, both of them, which means if being rainbow is not something you can maximize because it's an accidental property, then knowledge being an accidental property means that you don't have to have a necessary
but
maximally
knowledge yeah but not all
knowledgeable being. And every time we explain something to you, like rather than trying to take it in and figure out what's happening, like you're not listening. You have no idea where you're even at. You're completely discussed. You need to like put the toke down and maybe pay attention, or we just move on to maybe a real person. Oh shit, we
I
had one in
reckon
the
we
box.
move on.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
we
we
got
don't have
you.
one anymore?
Well, yeah, we got a guest in the YouTube queue we could bring in. Yeah.
Justin, I'm
What?
sorry, bro. I'm so
Oh
bad
no,
at. I reckon
it'll
your
be okay.
lives are very hypersensitive on TikTok. I don't know why they watch you so hard. Because, like, I say the exact same thing when I go on Thinkers Live. Like, we use words like that. Even, like, some words we don't use, of course. But when I go on literally, like, my own live, other lives, we say stuff like that and we don't get restricted. I don't know why they're always on your case. Like, it's
I mean,
crazy.
yeah, it's just one of those things. Like, you know, if you if it's one of the once you start getting violations on TikTok, it's hard to stop getting them. Like they put you on
Yeah.
like the bad list. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry. I'll make sure I'm extra careful. I'm so sorry. I always fucking get your lives fucking restricted. Please don't
It's
hate me. Don't hate
it
me.
is okay. It is okay. We're gonna get through it. We're all gonna get through it. Anyways, we've got a guest, Eric, on TikTok. I'm sorry, on YouTube. And fuck, I'm gonna bring up a friend of mine as well, LG Gray, as we get Eric in here. Welcome in, Eric. Are you at least
I don't think you're a
18?
Christian.
Holy shit! What's going on with your mic? Jesus, Eric, do you have a real mic? I don't know. Listen, Eric, I don't know what the fuck's going on over there. I gotta mute you. This is bad. Okay, Eric. Shit. Okay. Where's this fucking echo coming from? Motherfucker. Hmm. Interesting. Hmm. Okay, more about that later. You guys hear that echo? Or is it just me?
No, I
Fuck
can
that.
hear the echo.
That's the craziest ass echo. Hold on. What the fuck's going on here? All right. Let me see. Okay, is it still echoing? I think we're okay
Um,
now.
yeah, they're still echoing.
What the fuck going on? Let me see if there's a weird setting on TikTok. weird ass situation. Okay, it's gone now, right?
Yeah, but they're gone too.
Well, yeah. Oh, Eric came back. Sorry, I blamed Eric. I guess it might not have been Eric's fault. Oops. Well, we'll try it again. Hold on one second. Okay, Eric should be able to hear me. I'm gonna pull in Eric real quick, and then we should be able to hear Eric. Hopefully, this time around, it's not gonna do any crazy shit. All right, Eric, you can hear me, right?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
There's no feedback or anything, is there?
I think it's okay now. I don't know what was going on there. That's weird.
All right, cool.
Now, Eric, are you at least 18, and do you believe in God?
I am over 18. I do not believe in God, no.
Oh, well, Eric, my friend, we're just doing debates.
Okay. All right. I just had a quick question, but like, it's all good. No big
All
deal.
right, thanks, man. Appreciate it. I don't know why
Guys,
does that happen, Venus?
we need opposition, okay? I know you'll have questions, but don't feel entitled, okay? We love you guys, but this is for debate. The
I do
reason
run
why
other
I
live
come up
streams.
is, yeah, I know I've known Justin for 3 years, and I come up here maybe once a week, once a fortnight. So I'm a co-host sometimes, okay? I've talked about this with Justin. It's not an atheist free for all, okay? Make sure you have a belief in the Christian God so we can talk about it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I might, because I got restricted on TikTok, friends. I might just restart TikTok real quick and try to get back in the algorithm. If you're watching on YouTube, there is a link on the screen that you can join. It's tiny.cc/DZ live. And I believe we've got both streams running here. We got the horizontal and the vertical up. Let me double check, make sure both are still good. And you don't have to have TikTok to join this conversation. So the link on the screen doesn't require like your email or sign up or your phone number or any bullshit like that. You just put the link in your browser, or click. There's a clickable version of the link actually. In oh wait, is the vertical stream not running? Hold on, let me see. Oh fuck, maybe did I not start the vertical stream? Let me see. Oh, maybe I didn't. Oops. What's going now? I thought I started that motherfucker. Weird. Maybe I'm going crazy here. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. Anyways, oops. Starting it now. It's a fucking wild day. It's gonna be a wild day. All right. I'm really certain that I started the vertical stream. No way it crashed. Anyways, Venus. Hey, I need to get back with you about computers.
Yeah, listen, it's no rush. Like, it's no rush. In the meantime, like I've already explained it to my teacher, and it's not a big part of like everything, but I will like need it in order to eventually do those assignments. But like I've
Right.
already talked to her about it. They've got like the reason why I can't borrow one from the library is because it's like in the way that it's like programmed and stuff, it's like you need your own personal one. I don't I don't understand anything about computers, but they're like you can't run our studio on the borrowed computer. Like that's just for people who like, are like maybe on visas here or like from other places where they can't afford a computer. But like, yeah.
Um.
But
Well,
that's okay. Listen, I know you're
what's
a
the name
busy
of
man, Justin. I'll never hold it against you. Never hold it against you.
Venus? What's the name of that software? I forget the name of it that you need to run.
Our studio.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. That's just statistics. Okay, our studio. There we go. Mm-mm-mm. They should have that for Mac. I'm just double checking. Download our studio desktop and server. Let's see. Yeah, they have it for Mac. It looks like. Okay, I'll check in. I might download a copy of it on my Mac just to verify that it does in fact work well. But the right now the best computers on the market for laptops unfortunately are the Macs. I know sometimes not every software package goes like they don't have it for the Mac. But anyways, let me restart the TikTok stream and we'll reset possibly our algorithm, and we'll get some people in here. And Venus, come on right
All
back.
right. Alrighty.
TikTok live restrictions is fucking outrageous. Let's see. Vertical is back. Hors is still whack? You mean the horizontal stream's fucking up right now? You gotta be kidding me. No way. Let me double check. What's wrong with the horizontal stream? I really I thought the horizontal stream was going well. Motherfucker. I need to see what's going on here. No. I'm watching a horror stream right now. It looks fine. Mac is whack? Hey, horizontal stream, it's fine, right? I got it running right here. I don't see any problems with the horizontal stream. We haven't had any problems, right? Yeah, horde is fine. That's what I thought. Weird. I wonder why it says that. Anyways, I'll read some super chats, friends, while we're waiting for a guest to load up and TikTok to restart. Here we go. We're going live on TikTok again right now. Boom. There we go. TikTok is live. Probably have a TikTok guest in here in a minute, but nevertheless, we should, now that the vertical stream is running, that should be popping up in the YouTube Shorts feed, and YouTube Shorts should spit it out to a whole bunch of people, and we should be able to get some opposition up in here. But Apex Heathen, I assume you're an atheist. So we are just doing debates, Apex. Let me see what's going on. Welcome, Apex. Are you an atheist?
I am an atheist. I figured since you were still kind of setting up after, again, I figured I'd take a little time to say hi. And
Endless failure.
yeah, hey, you know what? Third time's the charm, right? No, I was just calling in to tell you what's up, and really enjoy your channel. You're probably like my favorite YouTuber. Actually, you actually inspired me to start my own debate stream channel as an atheist myself. So I got to thank you for that.
Oh shit! I hope you have great luck on that, friend.
I hope so.
Yeah, if you need any resources, join the Deconstruction Junction. A lot of good resources there. A lot of people in the Junction are doing debates as well.
All right, cool. Well, I'm gonna let you load up some opposition. I'll sit back and watch.
Sure thing. Cheers, Apex.
All right, have a good day, Justin.
Well, we got a lot of atheist friends. I think this week. Let me double check on the Discord. Welcome back, Venus.
Hello, Justin.
Oh, apparently I just didn't start the vertical stream, I guess. I thought I had started it, but everything's going now. We should have a guest here shortly. And I was just checking. I think this week, it shows it on my phone, but it never shows it on the web version. Let me check Discord. I think we crossed 7,000 on the Deconstruction Junction this week. Let me see. We're so fucking close. 7,003. Let's fucking go, y'all. That's fantastic. If you haven't joined the Junction yet, y'all should. It's fucking fantastic. I'm super
Justin.
happy. Fantastic. All right, we should be rocking and rolling. I think everything's right in here. Let me double check, make sure. I see this Billy. That's a crazy fucking name. I can't say. Anyways, I'm gonna read some super chats while waiting for guests to load up. But Billy, holy smokes! Billy coming in here with a name that will probably get me completely taken off of TikTok today. Says Ice Wallowed.
Yeah, nice.
Billy,
nice
you know I can't read that. Thank you for the super chat, though. And Jammers, thank you for the $100 super chat. I really, really appreciate that. But you might not have been present for the last couple of weeks. Says, get better streaming tech, bro. I'm actually making my own stream software. I'm atheist. Fine. Christian, former atheist. Oh, interesting. Would love to talk someday when I have time. Former Jerrigs83. Enjoy your streams. Hey, thank you. I appreciate you joining the stream and also enjoying the stream. But the reason why my software, I keep having to do these tweaks at the beginning of the stream is I'm making new software that will replace all of my existing software. And so, like, I used to have to run like 5 different pieces of software to do these streams. I'm down at this point. I'm really down to 2: TikTok Studio and my software. That's it. That's all I need. Everything else that I used to have is built into my software. So that's why I'm doing it now. I do have one stream method that I developed early that just always works no matter what. It's a simple download that runs. It's a script that runs on my Mac, and then my web browser sends video to it, and it sends it to YouTube. It works every fucking time. It's never failed once. These keep failing because I'm working on new streaming methods, because there are going to be some people who can't, like, they don't want to download, this little driver to their computer. They just want to get on the internet like you would on StreamYard and fucking go. So I'm working on basically 3 different methods to make that possible. The one that's working right now is the one that is actually the one we need to work permanently. It's the right way to do it. It's actually have a dedicated media server that's pushing out the live stream from the web browser. That's the way to do it. It's taken a little while to get it working, and I've been doing tests, but the problem is, sometimes you test it and like, oh, great, it works. But then you forget to check something like whether or not the audio is actually synced up. Like, oops, my bad. So that's why we keep having these little things. But I'm pretty damn close to the finish line here. So I appreciate y'all being patient. But this is actually kind of important, getting this done, because I'm sick and tired of paying subscriptions for fucking software that people in the community don't want to pay $150 a month for software subscriptions. That's just reality. I canceled my CapCut subscription. I canceled StreamYard subscription and a bunch of other shit too. Canva, because anyways, long and short of it, that's why we're doing this, Jammers. It's not because I can't afford better tech. It's because I'm actually just creating the tech that's going to be moving forward. We need something better. The streaming community needs something better, and I don't mind doing it. And it's not. I will not be charging people for this, by the way, once it's published. Helping Mega Deconstruct says, holy queefing Christ, the Phil Bros love smelling their own queefs. Phil Bros are the literal worst at arguing for a god. True. Rock Hard for Doug, Simply What for Sharon, and Horse Rule. Helping Mega, you've been here for a while. There's a reason why nobody likes to listen to the Phil Bros. One, they get bogged down in, nonsense definitions a lot. And then they get mad when you make them explain their own definitions. And that's its own thing. That's its own problem. But the other thing, too, is like they don't really know how to argue. And like a lot of their arguments, honestly, just boil down to nuh-uh. Like, okay. And then when you show them the issue with their argument, they can't comprehend it. They can't see, like when you reverse it to them, like the ontological argument. It's super, super easy, Venus, just to say, if it's possible that a necessary being does not exist, well, then it doesn't exist in all possible worlds. Like, boom, your argument just failed, but he can't grasp that. A Barnabas. Be clear about that. Is there any theological reason you know of why God didn't drown all the unclean animals in the flood? Also, did he really have to save the wasp? Okay. So we do want to be clear about clean and unclean animals. So moral cleanliness in the ancient Near East didn't really apply to animals. It applied to humans, but animals typically didn't get moral agency. So that's why the animals, like, when they say clean or unclean, they mean they're clean to eat. Like, they're not going to make you unclean, right? And like most societies in the ancient Near East, everybody had different lists of what they thought was a clean and unclean animal. So, like, for example, in Hatti, where the Hittites were, they didn't want dogs fucking anywhere near their temples. We find the same thing in Egypt. We had a lot of herders, sheep and goats in the Levant, but in ancient Egypt they thought that they were unclean. That's why when they go down to Egypt, they have to go to Goshen. They say, because our sacrifices are an abomination to the Egyptians, they'll kill us for doing it here. So that's kind of the situation going on. Rachel, good to see you, my friend. Thank you for the super chat. Love to know your feelings about boys who went through puberty 10 minutes ago, feigning intelligence by using philosophy jargon, tell you that you don't know what you're talking about. Seems like projection. It's true. And it's really funny because, like, I used to engage with the Philbro people in good faith. Like, I used to treat them kind of seriously, but it's kind of hard to, because most of them just want to jargon drop whether they know what it means or not. And that last guy wasn't quite up to snuff. Ontological Shock says, any chance you can repeat your response to my last super chat? Your response got buffered out. I'm sorry. Unfortunate timing. Rock hard for Doug. I'm super sorry for that, Ontological, but I do have it right here. This is the other, people ask why we need this software. This other thing is every fucking super chat that comes through is immediately saved into a permanent database. It's a completely non-volatile storage source, so I never lose a super chat ever again. I have heard lots of people complain that a super chat didn't come through, and so I missed it. And that's because Social Stream Ninja, the software that most of us are using to collect super chats, is fucking shitty. And my system doesn't have that problem. It will never lose a super chat, and then it stores it for all time, and it runs metrics on your live stream, so you can check out your long-term users, who your biggest fans are, do all kinds of stream metrics and whatnot. So it's I promise for the streaming community, this is worth the hassle. But he says, to your original, Ola, I picked up helping Jesus fulfill prophecy, roughly 12 unfulfilled Bible prophecies in the first chapter already. Makes me feel like I was fed nothing but lies and bad theologies when I was Christian. And you're right, Ontological. There are two things that you were probably told about the prophecies. One is that they were literal prophecies that were about Jesus, meaning the Old Testament said this would happen, and then it happened, right? And most, I would say, uneducated pastors would teach it that way. If you have a pastor that was at your church and say they were not seminary or Bible college educated, then yeah, a lot of them will say that. Now, if you have a real seminary educated pastor, that pastor knows. They've been trained. All of the so-called prophecies that Jesus fulfilled aren't direct prophecies. They're more like allusions. They're more like typologies or spiritual fulfillments. It's nonsense. And so the real question is, hey, do we think that spiritual fulfillments are even a fucking thing? I don't. I think it's nonsense. And I explain why during the stream. Gretchen says, necessary Gretchen right here. I exist. And you know what, Gretchen? I should, and this is on me, I should have used the necessary Gretchen argument, which we already know about. We already know about the necessary Gretchen argument. That was my mistake. So shame on me, but also Atlas, my friend, great to see you tonight. Sending out 5 DZ Debate gifted memberships. Hell yeah. I super, super appreciate that. Big W. And Calf says, remember to say the Lord's Prayer and ask God not to lead you into temptation because that son of a bitch is prone to doing evil shit like that. Indeed. And remember, God put Satan in this world, and Satan, 2 Corinthians 4:4, is blinding the eyes of the people to the gospel so that they won't be saved. So God literally put a thing in place to prevent people from believing. And we do have Praise I Am crashing out in the comments now. Your liberal scholarship is unnecessary. Sure thing, Praise I Am. I don't know what you think is liberal. I went to an evangelical seminary and a evangelical Bible college, and they were so conservative they still rejected the idea that you can be Christian and be part of the LGBT community.
Praise, why don't you come up here and stop waffling in the comments? We've got no guests. You'd be first in line. So just come up. You've got 15K followers. So why don't you show your fans proud? Why don't you make those Christians following you proud?
To be fair, I enjoy a good crash out from Praise I Am. He's always good for a crash out. Nevertheless, we do have a guest in the YouTube queue. I'm going to go ahead and pause here, and we'll get Willie. You're right, actually. By the way, engineer just got an engineer. It's true. The one thing I missed after leaving my engineering job was getting to create shit, and it's it's fun. But let's get, I think, Ellie Sotoof in here. We'll try this and see what they got to say. Welcome in, Ellie. Are you at least 18? Or is it Eli?
I was born 2007 of December.
So you're 17.
No, I'm born
No, you'd be
2007
18. I'm born.
19. Sorry, I
Yeah.
was kind of the wrong way. Yeah. You're good. So, what God do you believe in?
The Christian God,
Sure. And
Yahweh,
what do you
the one true God.
sure. What do you think is a good argument for the Christian God?
Well, I want to see do you want to have a conversation how if God's all loving?
I mean, you don't
Okay.
want to talk about the existence of God. You just want to talk about whether or not God is
I mean,
loving.
I want to talk about if he's loving, then why does he send you to hell? I really want to talk about that one.
So
Only if that's okay.
you want to pick the topic.
Oh, it's up to you, man. Yeah,
I mean,
you can go ahead.
I
We can
do
do that one
actually
if you want.
I do actually like the topic, to be fair. It's just weird that somebody is gonna come
Yeah.
into my live stream
Nah,
and
I didn't
literally
mean.
pick the topic as
Yeah, that's
wild.
my fault, brother. I didn't mean, dude. I didn't mean to come off like that. I apologize if you felt offended.
I'm
It
not
is your
offended.
live
Okay.
How
stream.
old are you again, Eli? How old are you?
19.
19. But wouldn't you be turning 19 in December?
That was
I
yeah.
would, yeah, but I'd say I'm 19 anyways.
So he's about to be 19.
Okay, yes, so you're a kid. Wait, is it
Yeah.
so he lied about his age?
Well,
No,
I think he
because
might
I
have
say
been
I'm 19
confused.
because December is like what? In how many months? So
Okay,
dang near,
and
what,
when did you graduate,
18 and a
Eli?
half?
When did you graduate?
I, I graduated 2025.
And what subjects did you do?
Uh, well, I did graduate biology. I graduated algebra. Uh,
Like,
what else?
you graduated algebra? You mean you passed?
Well,
Wait, what
yeah.
country are
Well,
you
you
in?
know, USA.
Okay. What's a W-2?
A W-2.
Yeah.
Repeat, W-2.
Yeah, what's a W-2?
Are you talking about world history?
Not W-2, just a W-2.
W-2. I don't know.
You sure you're 18?
Yeah.
W-2 is a tax form that you have to turn in to declare your earnings.
I mean, maybe you know what? Look,
What up? It's good, bro.
okay, look, let
You
me
coming,
ask
bro?
one more question. Since you did biology last year, just a simple question. What's the difference between what's the difference between a
You
prokaryotic
said
and a
what?
eukaryotic
Hold up.
cell? Just tell us that so we know that you're not like completely a child. What's the
You said
difference?
what?
What's the difference
Do
between
I
a
use the small baby?
prokaryotic? What's
Oh,
a?
I use
Can you
cologne.
hear me?
Hold up, my fault.
He's not listening
Yeah, I
at
was
No, no.
talking.
all.
I was talking.
Can
My
you?
fault. I was talking.
Sorry. Do you mind
I
concentrating?
was
Unless
talking
you're
to my
trolling
homie.
and we can just drop you. Sorry.
No,
Sorry.
no. I was
So he
talking to
said.
my homie.
So he's. Yeah. Okay. So I'm talking now. So if you did
Yes.
biology, you should at least know this. What's the difference between a eukaryotic and a prokaryotic cell?
A prokaryote and eukaryote.
What's the difference?
I'm pretty sure one has more nucleus, another nucleus, and then one doesn't have another nucleus, or one does not have a nucleus. I don't remember, bro.
You know what? That's correct. Unfortunately, which one doesn't
Yeah,
have the nucleus? Which one doesn't have it?
I don't remember. Maybe the eukaryote. I don't remember which one
No,
doesn't.
it's the program.
I
You
just
know what?
remember
As
that.
much as I hate this, he kind of knew the difference. So, look, he seems like he's just 18, and 18-year-olds do kind of sound like this. I can't lie.
yeah, that's fine.
So, fair enough. We'll proceed.
Yeah. So Eli, you are a Christian, correct?
Okay.
Did I hear you correctly? Okay. And what you wanted to argue, like, if God is still good, if He sends people to hell?
Yes.
Okay. And I would say I don't think sending anybody to hell is just, and I think justice is good. So that would be how I'm going to frame this. How do you, when you
Can you
say,
repeat?
I would
You glitched
say,
out.
I would say that God sending people to hell is unjust. And in my
So
framework,
just the thought.
unjustness is not good. Do you think that you can agree to that?
No.
So you think injustice is good?
I'm saying that God sending people to hell is justifiable because really you send your
Well,
own self to
that's
hell.
that's actually not my question. Do you think injustice is good or bad?
Injustice, can you define it?
Injustice is when you give somebody that's not a thing that's not coming to them. So, for example, if you were being accused
Oh
of
no, yeah, that's
stealing,
bad. Bad. Bad.
okay, so yeah, injustice would be bad, and justice would be good, right?
Justice will be good, yeah, of course.
Okay, so we do agree on this. Okay, so basically, then my first premise would be if God is unjust, he is not all good. Can we agree?
If God is unjust, he's not all good. Yes.
Okay, so we agree on premise number one, and I'm just going to write it down. I've got a notepad right here, and I just want to make sure we can go back to this. You already agreed to it. So we say, if God is unjust, then he is not all good. Fantastic. The second point is I actually think that he does unjust things. Would you like me to demonstrate that?
Yeah.
Okay. So we could use hell as the unjust thing, since you want to. That's your topic. I can go to other things. I can show you where he punishes innocent people all the time. But since you want to talk about hell, I think that's fine. I think one of the reasons why hell is unjust is because there's no differentiation between, say, a 15-year-old who's only told a couple white lies in their life, and say a person
Then
who, like
someone killed
Hitler, who
multiple
is
people.
gas chambered
Yeah. And then
millions
he
of
would go to heaven if
people.
he
So
repented.
they
Yeah.
actually both get the
Mhm.
the same punishment. Well, I mean,
Yep.
Hitler didn't repent, but theoretically, if Hitler did repent, then he wouldn't get a punishment at all. That's just not justice.
I have a question.
Hmm.
According to the Bible, does all sin equal death?
Does that matter when we define justice? Because just because the
I'm just
Bible
asking you, like
just because the
I'm saying
Bible
according
defines it, just because the Bible defines it as something doesn't mean that it's just.
I'm asking you though, but does the Bible say that all sin equals death?
It says that the wages of sin is death, which is supposed to be an explanation for why humans die.
So all sin is death, right?
All sin leads to death.
Okay. So I have a question for you.
But do you understand the difference between death and hell, right?
Death and hell, yeah. Hell is eternal
Okay.
death, and death is death. Yeah.
Well, hell
So
is typically suffering, wailing and gnashing of teeth and fire and torment.
yeah, that's why I said eternal. Oh,
Yeah.
I call it eternal death because dang near you're dead, right? And you go to
Sure.
hell to eternal suffering. Suffering.
Hmm.
Now, my thing is, if all sin is bad, right? Right? It doesn't matter what you did. Yeah, on the earth there was different punishments, but according to God, all sin equals death. For
So
example,
so then you would say God's
when some
system is better than man's system.
God's system is better than man's system, in what
Yeah.
sense?
In what justice means.
And what justice means? Well, according to God, justice is if so. Let's say Hitler killed all those people, right? And then hypothetically, he were to repent, and he was truly sorry for what he did, and he truly repented, and he truly turned into Christ, and yeah, you're saved. But let's say that kid told white lies, right? Did bad things, never repented for his sins, and yeah, that's bad because you turned away from God and you didn't decide to repent and turn to Him with all full heartedness. But
Why? Why is that bad?
hypothetically,
Why is that
what you
bad?
say?
Why is it so
Because
bad for you to not believe in Jesus that he has to treat you like Hitler?
they has to treat you like Hitler. So
Yeah.
if uh let's say someone there's this all powerful God for you. There's all powerful God in the sky, right? If you do not, and he created you, and he said, you know what, you get the free will. You want to turn to me? That's fine. If you
You don't
don't,
have free
that's on
will.
you.
No.
Yeah.
You don't have free will.
What do you
You have an
mean we don't have free
ultimatum.
will?
The ultimatum is you will do exactly what I say, or I'll burn you forever in hell.
Yeah, it's your choice. What do you
That's
want to
not a
do?
choice.
Do you
That's an
want to be what?
ultimatum.
Hell, hell
Eli,
is a
if
separation.
I went to your mom and said, "Listen, I'm going to take you, I want to take you out tonight. We're going to have the fucking best time of your life. But if you say no to me, I will lock you in my basement and light it on fire." Is that a real choice, or is that an
So
ultimatum?
here's the thing. Here's the thing with that. I have a
Eli, is that a
question
real
for you.
choice?
Well, no, because
Okay,
it's
so
not.
you
And
understand that
you're
threats of
interpreting.
you
You're
can't have free will
okay.
when the decision is paired with a threat of violence.
So you're interpreting it the wrong way. So
No,
God
it's
is
a
all
threat of
good.
violence. No, that
Can
I
I
agree,
finish?
I disagree. That's what you're trying to prove.
Okay, here's one. Here's what I'm going to say. So God is all good, and if you go against good, then that's
But
bad. The
you have to
opposite
prove
of
that.
heaven is going to be bad.
That's adorable that you
So
can say it, but you have to demonstrate that God
mm,
is good. You can't just assert it.
okay, I'm just saying, according to our logic, against
Well,
God, you go to
I know about
hell.
your logic. So
Okay, so
you
if you
haven't
know
you
the
haven't
logic,
solved the
you know that
problem
he,
yet.
you could,
Yeah, you haven't solved the problem yet.
yeah,
The question is
I'm trying to.
why does a person who has
Mhm.
done almost no sin in their life need to be tortured the same as a person who spent their entire life
Almost no
sinning?
sin. Almost no sin.
Yeah.
So sin to you is only so like if do people only tell white lies as a sin?
I didn't say anything about all people. I use a specific example, by
I
the way.
said, but
Did you actually listen to my example?
does everybody go against the Bible?
Not everybody, but a lot of people. But that's not relevant to what I'm saying. You
I'm
understand that
saying
there's
so
an
that you
age
can't.
of accountability, Eli? Do you know that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you think somebody
So
who
look,
is 10 days over the age of accountability has sinned more than a person who's 10 years over the age of accountability?
do they have the conscience to know that they're sinning?
That's not my question. Yes or no? Do you think a person
I
who
mean,
is
I
10
can't.
days over
Do
the
they
age of
have the
accountability
conscience?
has
It
sinned
depends.
more
Do they
than a
have?
person who's been over the age of accountability for 10 years? Yes or no?
But it depends. Are they conscious for knowing they're sinning? I just want to know that. Then I could further clarify your question.
It has nothing to do with consciousness.
That's why I'm trying to bring it up, so you don't try to
If
put me in a
consciousness
trap
is
and you try to
irrelevant,
answer.
Leviticus 4
So
and
do
5
they have?
include all kinds of sins that are unconscious. You don't have to be conscious of them for them to be sins.
So like, if you know you're sinning and you know you're away from God, do they know they're away from God?
Again, they is excluding a group of people. Some of them are conscious of their sin and some are not.
Hey, yeah. So, you're like 10 days, right? And you die,
Yep.
and you say you think they'll go to hell.
That's according to your religion, yeah.
Where's the verse that says that if you're a baby, you're going to hell?
I didn't say baby. I said 10 days over the age of accountability. Are you
10
not
days over
listening?
the age of
Like, where are
accountability.
you? Are you incapable of listening?
I'm talking about the accountability according to
Yes,
like
the age of
you have the
accountability is not
accountability.
birth.
Okay, so if you have the age of the accountability, right, which would be what around
Usually 13.
like
So
13, yeah.
next year you'll be at
So
the age
they
of
have it, yeah.
accountability.
So they have a choice. So they have a choice then to know that it's wrong, and
Uh-huh.
they went ahead and
Okay.
did it anyways.
Got it. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's fair.
And do you think that somebody who has committed a sin, maybe a couple sins after being held accountable for them, do you think that they get the same punishment as a person who's lived for 40 years and committed all kinds of sins?
Do I think they get the same punishment?
Yeah.
Well, in hell, they
Do they
both
go
go
to
to hell.
hell?
Yeah, if they don't
Okay.
repent, they don't
You got
repent
it.
and turn to Christ.
You got it. Okay. So that is not just, right? We already defined justice and you agreed. You said that justice is when you actually get what you deserve. And typically that means that the punishment is somewhat proportional to the crime. But that can't be the case if hell is going to go to the person who literally only crime is maybe telling some white lies and didn't believe in Jesus, versus somebody who, went on a murdering spree and then later confessed their crimes and, repented to Jesus. That's not a system of justice. God is literally just saying, If you don't love me, you'll burn. The system of justice in literally Christianity has nothing to do with justice and everything to do with, will you worship me? Because if not, you burn. Because you can't have a perfect person.
I have a question.
Justin, I got a question. Eli, what year are you turning 20?
What year am I turning 20? So
Mm-hmm.
18, and then in 2000, next year I'm turning 19. So
You said this year you were turning 19.
Yeah, you said
Nah, this guy's
December.
a kid.
He's
Justin, he's
fucking
a kid.
12.
Let's get
I
rid of it.
am.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I am.
listen,
You're just
child,
lying all over the time.
you got to go. You're not old enough for
I
this.
kept
And
on thinking about it, and I was like, no, something ain't right. Like 18-year-olds sound young, but at least they sound somewhat cognizant.
he wasn't tracking
Like,
anyways. So
that was so bad. Y'all think we can't tell when you guys are children? Like, we're willing to be gracious when you sound young, but when you like think like a baby, like, yeah, no. Yeah, no.
well, nevertheless, we might have an adult in the queue. Let me grab a couple super chats. Misha, my friend, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. All non-developers in the followers getting a taste of that sweet developer life. It's true, actually. If you design anything for a living, you know what the debug phase is like, and it could be tough. Kudos for dog fooding your own software. You know it. Listen, you can't just force this shit out and hope that it works. You have to test every fucking thing. It's frustrating to have little things come up when user testing, but great long term. True. And you know, where I used to work, we thoroughly tested everything we shipped. We didn't ship garbage, and so unfortunately, y'all are, you know, we're kind of all guinea pigging the software. And my deepest apologies, but we're about at the finish line here, so we should be good. I think it's working right now. Let me know if like the audio gets decoupled on either of the streams, like horizontal or vertical. If the audio and the video stop matching up, that's something I definitely need to know if it's happening, and we can work on correcting that later. But Saint Brush says, check out Centerplace. Oh, I know Centerplace on YouTube. They do amazing and invaluable lectures every week on Old Testament and New Testament text criticism and history. True. It's an amazing resource for atheists who love learning in depth about the Bible. I actually kind of like it. I've seen them say some things that are fringe, you might say, but overall, they do really good research. I've been following them for some time. You know, like everybody else on YouTube who does education in this particular field, no one's ever going to agree on everything, right? So obviously, they're going to say some shit that maybe I wouldn't have said, and I'll probably say some shit that maybe they wouldn't have said. But you know, that's you know, when you're doing actual like studying, you know, sometimes you come to different conclusions. So let's get our next guest in here, Geek, and see what we got. How you doing, Geek?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good. How you doing?
How do I refer to you?
You can call me Justin.
Justin, okay. It just said deconstruction zone. Hey, Venus.
Yeah. Geek, are you at least 18?
Yeah, I'm 26.
Cool. And do you believe in God?
Yes, of course I do.
Cool. Which God?
Jesus.
All right, so you're a Christian. Cool. What do you think is a good evidence or argument for the Christian God?
Our existence. That's argument enough.
What's that got to do with God?
Well, we won't exist without him being there. He's necessary for us to exist.
Well, you have to prove that. You can't assert it.
Well, you're saying he's not, so how can you prove that he's not?
Oh, easy, because it has contradictions. The Christian God does. Also, the book that describes the God is like hopelessly full of contradictions and things that are completely false. So it's just stands to reason that you know, the book itself, if the belief in that God is on the book and the book is full of things that are false, there's not good reason to believe that the God is real. But the contradiction I'm referring to is typically the Trinity. I think that's a huge problem.
How is that a problem? It makes perfect sense.
That'd be three gods if you actually count properly.
Well,
You can't
no.
have an entity that is 300%.
It's 100% all of it
100% of what?
of God.
What is God?
Well, I'm human, so I won't be able to elaborate further.
Well, is God a substance?
God is a supernatural entity that governs all.
Okay, so what is it? When you say 100% of God, that's a meaningless statement. I can say Venus is 100% a human, because I know what a human is. There are properties that humans have. I could say this piece of paper is 100% paper because it's got ink on it. But because like we know what paper is, it's got definitions, it's got properties. But the God that you're describing doesn't actually have any properties, and the properties that it does have are contradictions. You can't be 100% God and then also have Jesus, who was 100% man. Those are contradictory.
Why not? You're using the limitations of man to limit God as well and put him in the box of what man can or cannot be.
Can men be gods?
No,
Oh,
but
was Jesus a man?
he was a God
Was
that
he a man
appeared as
though?
a man.
Oh, so Jesus was not a man. So when he was on the earth, he wasn't 100% God.
He was 100% God that took the form of a man.
So he was part God, part man. So he's a demigod.
No, he was still God.
Was
How are you not
well,
understanding this?
okay, so Jesus, the identity of Jesus, the person who got crucified on the cross, was he 100% man?
Jesus was 100% man while also being 100% God.
That means he's 200%. So
If
if
you're
God
using
if God is not a man and Jesus is 100% man, that means he's 0% God. If God is not man and he's 100% God, then that means he's 0% man.
Just to clarify, you can't be 200% of something. 100%, if you know, basic algebra is already a whole. 100% is one whole in whole numbers. 200% would be two wholes. So that's two people. Unless Jesus is two separate entities, he can't be more than 100% of anything.
but
That's not how percentages work.
you're not God, so you can't
And neither are you.
limit.
So you don't
Yeah,
know if he
neither am I.
exists, cunt. Like,
Like, I don't have to be God to understand that there are things that we just won't be able to fathom, and that's
Like
okay.
what?
and I don't
Like
have
the
to be
Trinity?
God to understand. I don't have
Yeah,
to
like
be God to understand that this shit doesn't make sense. Like,
I mean, it's just the deception that Satan has done that has run really deep for you guys to be using what you believe to be
Using
logic and
logic?
reasoning, which only would exist
Wait, is logic
with
a
God.
problem? Does God
Logic is
not
not a
follow
problem.
logic?
Logic works only because God exists.
Why would we think that?
What are the rules of logic? What are they?
Well, there's three classical rules. I mean, law of identity,
Contradiction.
non-contradiction. There we go, and then excluded middle. But God
Yeah.
isn't required for those to be the case. In fact, look, I want to show you something.
Yes, he is.
This is a piece of paper. Now, I declared
Right.
this to be a piece of paper, but I could say this. I could say I need a new category for something that has paper and ink and also has been folded because I've been folding this, right? So I'm going to say that this object is actually now a boppity boop. This is a boppity boop. Okay.
You can label it however you want, yes.
I agree. Could this not be a boppity boop?
If I use a different label, yes, then I could say
No. It's
not
still a
boppity
boppity boop.
what I
No,
labeled.
we just identified it. It's a boppity boop. So could this not be a boppity boop?
No.
Well, we just agreed that this is a boppity boop.
Yes. If
Okay,
you're
so
saying this is
if
a boppity
it
boop,
is a boppity boop, then it can't not be a boppity boop.
yes.
Okay, so that means that all the logic is, the only thing we're doing here is we're literally just putting words on things that are, things that have being. And if we say this is a thing, it can't not be that thing. We've already declared it to be that thing. That's all it is.
I hear you, but those things that are beings because they were caused to be beings.
That has nothing to do with
Does that
logic.
make sense?
That has
It,
nothing to do with logic. Like I
yes, it
agree
does.
that
Because
this had a
it's either you're
cause.
an effect or you're a
I
cause.
agree that this didn't pop into existence by accident. It had a cause,
Exactly.
but that has nothing to do with logic. Logic doesn't say anything about causes.
The rules of logic itself, is it a cause or is it an effect?
Neither.
What is it?
It's a description. It's a language.
I disagree.
But who invented it? Who invented the three laws of logic? Was it a human?
I don't know if we would say invented the laws of logic.
Yes, they were invented. Just like English was invented, math was invented. Was it a human
Without
that did
the
it?
okay, but without the linguistics that we
I
use
was never
to,
going to answer a question. Who did it? Was it humans?
it's not that I'm never going to answer a question. The question doesn't
He's
follow.
not going to do it. Who invented? Who decided what the three rules were going to be?
God.
Wrong again.
That's God that
Human
describes
beings
that.
did actually. Human beings
No,
did.
humans didn't decide that.
Yeah, they did.
Like the three laws. They discovered
did.
they stumbled upon it.
They didn't stumble upon
Where?
it. They literally invented them. Yeah, where
Okay,
did
where
they
did they
find
It's the
it?
stumble?
same way humans invented
Yeah.
gravity. They stumbled upon it and realized, okay, this
Well,
is what this is, and then
gravity-
they assigned a word for it.
Gravity is a concrete. You're talking about abstracts.
So
Logic is
the rules of
abstract, not
logic. It's a
concrete.
It exists.
No, it's not.
Like,
No, it's not.
Without
it
us
doesn't.
defining it, it will always be.
No, wrong again.
You can't change the rules of logic. What do you mean wrong again?
We invented logic. The only reason why logic works is because we agreed that a thing is a thing. That's it.
Without us agreeing, a thing will be
if
a
we didn't
thing.
have language, if every human being on the earth spoke a different language, then maybe logic wouldn't even exist because we would have no way to identify anything.
I'm pretty sure the laws of physics does not care about our language.
I didn't say anything about physics.
Mind you, physics is literally got its own language.
Did I say
Whereby it's
laws
got
of
its own
physics?
theory.
I thought I said laws of logic.
Like,
If I said laws of physics,
No,
I
you
misspoke.
did.
No,
No,
you
you
said
said
laws of
logic,
logic.
but these people just don't. They don't seem to understand what mathematics is, all these theorems that people derive. They're their own form of language whereby they describe different aspects of reality, just like mathematics. And the way that we test them is by their predictive power. Like, I can predict whether something is logically possible using the laws of logic. That's all they are, valid rules for inferences.
Right,
That's
and
all
those
the
valid
laws of
rules were
logic
not
are.
created
Yeah,
by
they
man.
were invented because we couldn't have portrayed them without language. And language was
exactly. The
invented by
language was what was
humans. If it was
invented.
something that existed, like gravity, before humans, we would be able to observe the laws of logic floating around or having
Wait,
an impact on.
that doesn't make
Geek, why don't
sense.
you stop being a geek and listen? If it was something that we didn't invent and was floating around in the deep, we would be able to observe it, right? Just like we observe gravity. But the laws of logic are abstracts. They have predictive power, like the scientific method. They aren't actual things in of themselves that.
Have been a tree.
Okay,
We just
where
use
is
the term
no,
tree.
no, it wouldn't have been a tree
No.
because tree is a word that we invent. If you go to Japan and you yell at someone who's never spoke English, "This is a tree," are they going to understand what you're talking about?
It's just a language difference. You
Hey,
know what I
listen,
mean?
hey, listen, just answer the question. Are they
No,
going
they
to
won't
understand?
understand that I'm saying tree.
Okay, all right. Do you know the word for tree in any other languages?
In my native language, sure.
Yeah, and it's different from English, but they refer to.
A tree.
No, try again. They refer to something that.
Presents itself to be a tree? I'm not sure.
No, so it refers to something that has bark and has leaves and
Oh,
grows from the
okay,
ground,
okay.
is a
One of
plant.
the called
That's
letters.
what has always existed, okay? But the tree, the definition, the identity tree has not always existed. That's something that we invented to categorize this entity.
This goes
Okay?
back to what I was just saying. You're sticking to the
Oh God.
The description has always been there. It will always have had a
No,
bark.
but the
No,
reason
it
why
didn't.
we
No,
have
it
to
didn't.
make. What the fuck is with these trucks, bro? They
What do
piss me
you
the
mean?
fuck
No, it
off.
didn't.
Venus,
Like,
he
was it a
literally just
different
said
species
that the
then?
description has always been there, as though English always existed. This
That's
is really
not,
sad.
dude.
Not the linguistics.
Can you
Maybe the
This
describe
is
words.
rough.
something, geek? Can you describe something without language?
No.
Okay. So descriptions were invented by people who invented language, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And what is a tree? That's a description, right?
But the thing exists without needing to be
Yeah, that's
described.
what we're agreeing on. But you guys think we're stupid, and we know what you're doing. You guys want to smuggle in concepts existing prior to minds. Like that's the reason why we have to make this map versus place
No, but it's
distinction.
not okay.
Because
It's
the,
not
the map
concepts
the map was
existing.
invented. The map existed. You're fucking pissing me off. The map existed, but the place was invented. Okay? Or fuck's sake, the map was you guys know what I'm saying, okay? The construct was constructed, but the physical thing always existed, okay? The laws of logic are the construct, okay, that was constructed to describe reality. But reality always existed. Do you understand that?
Yes, I think we're
Okay.
headed in the right direction here. Reality always
Okay.
existed. Why?
That's irrelevant.
Actually,
It's not. This is the whole point. This is
if
God
reality always
existed and
existed,
reality.
that would agree with our position. Like, at least my position. I think that the universe always existed. So, like, yeah.
God has always been creating the universe.
Oh no, that's what
So,
you have to demonstrate.
well, I can't demonstrate that,
Well,
but I'm pretty
you
sure
can't
that there
just
are plenty
claim
of others
it.
that can.
You
I
have to.
personally can't.
So we already know that the universe exists. That's easy. We're in it, right? And we have good evidence to show that
It's
it.
the
Like
same
we
way
have
you
like
can say that's
we
easy.
have
I
like
can say
almost a
believe
dozen
in God
different
exists.
like eternal universal models that demonstrate that it certainly is plausible, and we have good evidence that it might be an eternal universe. We don't have any of that for God.
We do. We're in, as you said, we're in the universe. Therefore, the universe exists. The same thing applies to God. We're
But
here.
that does
Therefore,
not.
God exists.
Wrong again.
You'd
Like, the
have to
only thing that I would
demonstrate that
accept
God
is
is
if
the
you said
reason
that
why
that
we're
doesn't
here.
prove.
You'd
Yeah,
have to
you.
do that. So, like, please stop like dodging. Like, this is y'all just drag shit. Like, we had to do that whole laws of logic being concepts thing for no reason. Just demonstrate that God created this. Like, I'll grant you that. Hey, if God created this, we would be dependent on God for existence. Like, I'd
And
grant
we
you
are.
that. But you haven't demonstrated that yet. So just demonstrate it. Demonstrate that God made this shit.
Just pardon the silence. It's hard to, like, when you guys are not understanding the logical. It
Stop being
is
a
what it is.
crybaby. Demonstrate that God created this. That's the whole fucking point. Like, did you not read what's above Justin's head? We're demonstrating that God exists. If you're saying he created this shit, then demonstrate that. Like, there's no rocket science here.
It's gonna take a long time to demonstrate an entire model as to how God exists to you. If we're gonna go into like the entire thing, but what I
What?
can say for certain is that Jesus existed and Jesus is God.
Prove
No,
it.
you have to prove that.
Prove he's.
You don't just get to
Yeah.
say it.
Well, he resurrected after
But
unaliving.
that doesn't
Humans
mean he's
can't do
God,
that.
and also I don't believe that happened.
How can you not believe that happened? There's extensive
Why would
evidence for
I?
this. We have
But
we
there's
even
actually
have
more
what
evidence that Aristeas rose from the dead.
who's that?
A guy who resurrected from the dead hundreds of years before Jesus supposedly rose from the dead. You would know about that if you actually were interested in resurrection evidence, but you're not.
I'm interested in Jesus' resurrection evidence.
Oh, so you're only interested in the evidence that you think will support your position.
Not that I think will support my position, that supports my position.
Well, I don't think it does. Because if it did support your position, you would believe that Aristeas rose from the dead. For example, Herodotus writes in Book 4 of Histories, what follows I know happened to the people of Metapontion in Italy 240 years after the second disappearance of Aristeas, as I found by putting together the evidence of the prokinesis and the Metapontion. The people of Metapontion say that Aristeas himself appeared in their land and bade them to set up an altar of Apollo and placed by its side a statue bearing the name of Aristeus of Proconnesos. So this is one of the many appearances that happened in this particular region, which is why they actually had a statue of Aristeus right next to the god Apollo, because they thought his rising from the dead made him a god.
They had statues for a bunch of false gods back then, so it's
Oh, so Jesus is a false god then?
no, it's not.
Well, why would you say that this is a false god but Jesus is not?
Well, is there a Shroud of Turin for that person?
Well, the Shroud of Turin has nothing to do with Jesus. It's a 13th century forgery.
You're just making
It-
a bold statement.
Not only no, it's a true statement. Not only is it a forgery, it also does nothing for the resurrection. The most it could ever prove is that Jesus was crucified. We already know that. We agree.
It proves that he resurrected. There's an immense
No, it
amount of
doesn't.
energy that was required to create that shroud.
Nope. That's
And
not
also
true.
with the dating, it was.
That's not true at all. Actually.
You just say that's not true. That's not true, and you
Well,
don't like. You
you
just
have
say
to
no.
support your nonsense claim. So are you aware that the Bible disagrees with you? Have you read the Gospel of John?
I don't remember it off my head, but yes, I've read it before.
Sure. And what was he wrapped in?
I don't know. I have to read it.
He was wrapped in multiple pieces of linen. And did he have a head covering? Yeah.
Yes? No?
Yeah,
I don't know.
He wasn't. He was wrapped in multiple pieces of linen, including a head covering, and he was not wrapped at any point in one single sheet. And they didn't wrap bodies that way. They didn't lay a rag down, lay a body on it, and then fold it over the head. That's not how they did anything like that back in the day. This is obviously just a piece of artwork, which is
Then
why
would they wrap his
it
head
doesn't
separate? He
even
wasn't
adhere to
beheaded.
physics. In fact, if you lay something across someone's face, like a piece of cloth, well, when you unfold it, the face is going to be super wide because you have to go around a radius. See, the distance from here, like if I'm looking at the screen, the distance from here to here is one distance. But the distance to go from here to here and then back to my ear is additional distance, which is why if the rag had ever been on Jesus' face, his ears would be way fucking out here. It's clearly just a piece of art, bro.
Now that you mentioned that, that actually makes sense because I'm a 3D designer. Oh my god. Okay, no, I can go into the shroud and look into it later. That's fine. What I also wanted to mention about was what you were speaking to I believe he was a kid, and you were speaking about justice and injustice of God, and he wasn't really like tracking. But I think that you guys were not being fair with your argument on that. You're saying that it's
Interesting.
No one really cares what you think. Would you mind getting back to the point of discussion, aka being the evidence of the resurrection?
I thought that's what we were doing. He's bouncing all over the place.
Like, no one
No,
cares about what you thought about our discussion with that kid.
I have
Like,
to
no,
move on
no
from the
one
Shroud of
cares.
Turin because Justin just mentioned something that actually makes perfect sense to me.
Okay,
with the
great. Let's hear
distortion of the
let's hear
face.
other evidence. That's wonderful. Thank you. Let's hear the other evidence for why you think Jesus resurrected.
Well, eyewitness testimony.
So what? There's eyewitness testimony for Aristeus.
Just because there's a lot of fake stories doesn't mean that there is not a real story.
How do you know it's fake?
Because they're not Jesus.
So what? The story's fake because it's not about my favorite person. Holy shit.
No, I can see how you would sum it to that, but if the Bible has many prophecies that have led up to Jesus and then many
Oh,
prophecies
no.
afterwards,
Let's hear it.
And-
Oh
Let's hear it. Give us
no. Give us
why
the
are you
prophecies.
annoying?
No, Geek, you'll find out. Geek, I'll make you a promise. If you can show me one messianic prophecy that Jesus fulfilled, I'll become a Christian today.
I see this is gonna expose me for not being a Bible scholar, but I know there's a prophecy in Isaiah about his like, unaliving and resurrection, and it happens.
Isaiah 7 verse 14.
Probably, I don't know.
Well, then don't make the claim.
No,
What the fuck?
I assume you're referring to maybe Psalm 22, because there's no resurrection in Isaiah 52 and 53, which is probably what you wanted to do, because that's like the only prophecy you people know. It's like just Isaiah 53, like it's just like a reflex for y'all. Like you've never even read Isaiah 53, I bet. I bet you never read Isaiah 51 or 50 or 49 or 48 or any of the context leading up to it.
Yeah, I can't lie. I haven't read Isaiah personally. I was taught it in Sunday school.
Okay. So why would we believe that this is a prophecy about Jesus?
I feel a little underprepared for this, so I'm
Fair.
gonna have to read the passages so that I can like have them ready for next time when it comes to
Well,
this
why don't
topic.
you have any evidence, dude? You believe in this shit all the time. Why don't you have evidence right now?
Well, I have evidence for myself, but obviously not enough to convince you guys in like a logical conversation
But
because
why do
it's
you
also
why do
faith
you
for
hold
a
yourself
reason.
to an illogical standard? Why are you doing that for yourself?
It's not an illogical standard. It's
So
illogical
then
to
it's
you.
fine
It
with
doesn't make
us.
it
No,
illogical.
that's not how it works. Logic is universal. There's no logic to us and
Why is
logic for
logic
you.
universal? This goes back
I
to that.
don't. No. So, this is really sad. Okay, logic is universal because it's a set of principles that apply. Okay, that we've observed apply
But
to
language isn't
everything.
universal.
Okay. No, it's not. But logic isn't the same thing as literal English language or languages for people to communicate concepts. That's not the same thing, bro.
So
So
if
do you
logic
have
is
any?
not
Do you
related
have
to
stop? No, stop. Like you're pissing me off. Do you have the evidence or not? There's no logic for us and logic for you. If it makes sense, we'll accept it. Does it make sense?
all of this only makes sense in God's world and it makes sense.
Yeah, but you're not in God's world, so why does it make
Yes, I
sense
am,
to
and
you?
so are you.
Okay, then it'll make sense to us. So give it to us.
Maybe I'm just not the right person to say it. I don't have the right words
So you
for
don't
you.
have evidence then?
There is evidence. I just can't
Then give
formulate
it
the
to
words for it.
us. Give us the evidence, geek.
Why'd you say it like that?
That's
It's
your
your
name.
name.
It's just the way you said it. Give us the evidence.
Dude, it's
geek.
literally your name. Like, just do you have the evidence or not, dude?
You'd be surprised how many people would love to hear Venus call out their name like that. She's beloved in this community, and I won't have you slander her by accusing her of using your name improperly.
You can use my name, just not the Lord's name improperly. That's okay.
Okay.
Fuck Jesus.
You don't want to know the things I would say.
Whoa. See, why are we doing that now, actually?
If
Fuck
Jesus
your
was
history
here,
one.
I'd bend him over.
And you wonder why hell is justified.
So can you have the evidence? Okay, no one cares about hell. Hell is where fucking rape victims go. That's what hell is.
Venus, growing up, I was told that sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. But Yahweh will burn you for fucking ever for your words. He'll light you on fire.
Have you been to hell? Do you even know how it's gonna be there? You guys just are taking your own interpretation of what it is.
No, the Bible literally says there'd be fire, heat, wailing, and gnashing of teeth, which doesn't sound like anything but fire and misery to me.
Teeth is a physical part of your human body. Why would you think there's gonna be teeth in hell?
That's why that shit
It
doesn't
says
make
it.
any sense.
You
That's why it
understand that the
doesn't make
Bible
any
also has
sense.
parables. It has parts that are like allegory. It has parts that are
No,
literal.
we need the evidence. We need the evidence. We need the evidence. We need the evidence. We're not doing this, bro. Stop shifting the goalposts.
Okay,
Yeah, he's lost.
What's the
there's a bunch of
evidence?
stuff, right? We have the great flood that happened. We have multiple languages in
What
the world,
flood?
which we know
What's
from
the
Tower of
evidence?
Babel.
What's the
Go
evidence
ahead,
that
John.
there was a worldwide flood?
Well, because we can find certain is it sea life or shells and stuff at the top of like really high mountains that would only
You
be
know
there
why
if
that
there's like
is?
really
Did
elevated
you
bodies
bother
of
to look
water.
that up? Did you bother even once to look up why that is? You know
No.
how mountains form, geek?
Well, yeah, it's like tectonic plates hitting each other and shifting upwards. Like they
Yeah,
hit
and
and then
do
they push
you,
out.
and what shape were they in before they were mountains?
Flat.
Yeah, and what sits on flat land often?
Water.
What's in water?
Okay, we can stop now. Yeah, I get it.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh my god.
See, this is not fair. I feel like I'm just not equipped for this. This is not fair.
Well, why do you believe then? Let's take it this way. Why on earth do you believe if you've got no evidence?
Because it's faith. You say I've got
Okay.
no evidence. I
And do you
believe I
think
have
that
evidence.
faith, hey geek, do you think that faith is a accurate pathway to truth?
It can be.
Okay, in what circumstances, other than the ones that you think it is?
Well, that was the circumstance I was going to use, but
Yeah, well, it
not-
can't just be your opinion. You can't be like, I like this thing, therefore faith is evidence now. Like, that's stupid. Because that justifies every single religion that exists. I like it, so faith makes it evidence. That's not how shit works. You know that.
no, but the
So,
other religions can
so
be
what
easily
circumstance?
disproven.
Yeah, same with yours. We've already done that. So what's the evidence that faith gets us to truth in some circumstances?
Well, look at the Western culture. It started out as a faith-based culture, and
I
then
don't care. I
to.
don't care. I don't care about culture. I care about this God belief that you have. How does faith make it true?
Well, it makes it true for me. I'm happier with faith.
Okay, so you don't care about evidence. You just like believing in things.
I'm a very skeptical person by nature.
Okay, so you care about evidence then.
Yes.
And is faith evidence? Believing in something, is that evidence?
Well, I only have faith in Jesus, so
Okay,
no.
that's the problem. That's the problem. Faith doesn't get us to truth, right?
Like I said before, it can
Okay, in what circumstances?
in Christian circumstances.
Okay, why specifically those circumstances?
Well, because God has made himself known to billions of people around the world.
Yeah, but if you already know it, then you don't need faith. You have knowledge now. Variation of this God in your head, and you all pretend like you guys are worshiping the same thing. So I'll
It's the
ask you
same
again,
God.
what is so special about Christian circumstances whereby non-evidence can make something true?
Well, the Christian paradigm is a completely different paradigm to all the other ones. So
Okay, I don't care. I don't care. It's still a thing that you want to prove
about
is
a lot
true.
of the stuff that I'm
No,
saying.
because
So
I
what's the
don't care
point?
about you trying to shift the goalpost. You're saying the Christian paradigm is different. Being different doesn't automatically equal faith now makes my belief system true. How does faith get you to truth in these specific circumstances? What's the methodology?
I don't have a methodology.
So then how do you know that faith equals truth?
I don't know that.
Okay, so then why are you saying that faith makes it true if you don't know that?
I'm saying it can because eventually I will know
But
the
you said
truth.
you don't know that. So then how do you know that faith can eventually get you to truth?
With faith.
Okay, so how do you know that the faith of that and the faith that you have in that other thing will get you to truth?
It seems very circular. I'm very confused.
Yeah,
now.
because you're saying stupid shit. Like, I have faith that faith gets me to truth. Like, that's stupid as fuck. Like, are you serious? Like, dude, you're
I'm
literally a
serious.
26-year-old man. Like, you can't be saying this bullshit.
But Geek, you're
Just
not
'cause
going
you
to
don't believe it
know
doesn't
the
equal
truth
proof.
because of the faith, right? The faith itself is not what's leading you to the truth. That's the point.
Well, yeah, okay. The faith itself is not leading to the truth, but the truth is proving the faith.
That doesn't make it. But how do you get to the... Oh my god. Okay, so what truth?
What do you
What
mean? What
truth?
truth that he died?
You said the truth is proving the faith. And okay, whatever truth you're talking about, how did you get to that truth?
through science.
Through science? Okay, what science are we talking about that gets us to this truth?
What? I'm confused now. Like I'm
You're
gonna be
saying
honest,
that
I'm lost.
something is true, whether it be God, whether it be these nuts. What science are you talking about supports your claim?
I don't have an answer.
Okay, so you don't have any evidence and you don't care about evidence, you just believe shit. That's fine. That's okay. I mean, a couple billion other people do the same shit.
Yeah.
And you don't see the log in your eye. You keep trying to clean the speck out of theirs while you fucking think that the flood happened. It's why mountains appear on the seashells appear on fucking mountains. Like you don't even know what a fucking sedimentary rock is. Like that, you're not a skeptical person. Let's be honest.
That's
You
true.
can't be skeptical. Yeah, you're not. So you lied
So,
about that, and now you're gonna have your place in the lake of fire. That's fine.
oh
I'll see you
shit.
there, mate.
Revelation 21, 7 and 8. Liars do go to the lake of fire. But Geek, listen, I'm way past my time limit, and I started late. Unfortunately, I had a couple hiccups along the way starting the stream. I'd love to talk longer. Unfortunately, I have a hard out. I gotta end the stream on time, or actually, not as I'm already late ending it, but I gotta end the stream. Unfortunately, I'm live though. I'll be live again on Friday night, and I don't have a curfew on Friday night. Come on back and find those prophecies you were talking about, and we'll cover them. Okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna go get more prepared next time. I appreciate you
Okay.
guys' time.
Sounds good. Thanks for coming by.
That's okay.
Bye.
Our hearts are not blind. Everyone's heart is blind because no one's heart has eyeballs on it. So I think all of our hearts might be blind.
Venus, I'm so
Minister Michael.
confused why unprepared Christians come up here with such confidence. Like, don't you think if you were unprepared, you would just think to yourself, okay, I need to tread lightly. These people they might know some stuff that I don't know.
Yeah, it's also like, why aren't you prepared to explain the thing that you think is the reason we're alive? Like, you should
Right.
have this shit. You should be thinking about this shit every day. But, like, I
Yeah.
don't know what is going on in, like, you guys' heads, but, like, this is, like, the reason we're alive, the reason everything's happening, you know, my purpose. And you don't even have, like, facts to back it up. Like, that's the saddest thing ever.
It's
It's
pretty
really
wild, but
sad.
he admitted it at some point. It's faith, you know. Friends, I'm going to read what's left of our super chats, and then I've got to go and take care of business here at home. But Friday night we'll be having a long stream. Herman, my friend, Herman Nudix, thank you for the super chat. Want your thoughts on my Petrine 12 adjacent Bible, Anti-Pauline, Mark 1, Peter, James, Jude? Maybe some Coptic add-ins. I want to make sure I understand what you're saying. Want your thoughts on my Petrine 12 adjacent Bible, Anti-Pauline? Are you suggesting that you created a Bible yourself, like a Jefferson Bible, where you removed some stuff and then added some stuff in? Is that what you're saying? I mean, if you're creating such a Bible, I would include Mark. I would not include First Peter. I would not include James. I would not include Jude. So I would say that Coptic, none. I wouldn't include any Coptic sources. I hope that is what you're asking me. If not, I apologize. I didn't understand it. Toby, thank you for super chat. Allah is possibly necessary. So is Yahweh. So is Zeus. Therefore, all three exist. That's actually a fair point. Is it possible that there's more than one maximally great being? In fact, that there are two of them that are equally maximally great. And what they're going to say is, well, then it wouldn't be maximal. But that's actually not true. It's not about maximal compared to somebody else. It's maximal in that category of thing. So theoretically, you could make the argument for Zeus and Marduk and all the others. Fair point. Omnipotent Mango says, are there any decent resources for learning biblical Hebrew without college? Yes. Also, do you know any good physical concordance and or original language Bibles? Okay, so if you want a Hebrew Bible, you're going to get the BHS, or the Biblia Hebraica Stucartensia. It's a critical edition of the Hebrew Bible. There's a new one out, the Quinta. It's expensive. It's multiple volumes. You don't have to worry about that. Just get a cheap BHS with a critical apparatus. The other thing that you might want to consider if you're learning Hebrew for the first time is getting a reader's edition. Show you what I mean. So this is one, a reader's edition of the VHS. And what they do is, for the words that are less common, they'll help you out with it in the footnotes. So it assumes that you know most of the words except for some of the uncommon ones. And so that's a good resource. Learning biblical Hebrew. What I would do is there's lots of online classes. I would take one through university. So like Case Western Reserve does Hebrew classes. It's very cheap. It's not very expensive at all. It's part of their adult learning process. Obviously, you don't get credit for it. You don't get like college credits. But you can live anywhere. You can just sign up for Case Western Reserve Hebrew classes. Boom, done. You can do modern Hebrew or you can do classical Hebrew. That's a great resource. It's incredibly cheap. Also, for like learning books, I don't know. I still love the Van Pelt Gary Practico Basics of Biblical Hebrew. There's a lot of good introductory Hebrew books, but that one's just really organized well, and I think you would enjoy that one. So that should help. The other thing is lots of flashcards. Pseudo engineer, or sorry, soon and Sue engineer maybe. Dude has a head full of knuckles. A lot of these guests do actually. Head full of rocks maybe. A salient monk says, in these times such as these, I find comfort in verse Hadaway 1 through 2. What is love? Oh, baby, don't hurt me no more. Followed by dum, 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 dum. It's a good song. I fear that the younger generation might not know that song, but I'm old. BT Frenchie, if Gentiles only need Noahide laws, does that undermine the Jesus-Paul debate, or just show Paul applied an existing Jewish framework to inclusion? So I view Paul as not understanding that Gentiles only need the Noahide laws, because in Galatians he says that there were no restrictions on the Gentiles. The book of Acts is where you get this restriction of the 4 special laws, and they're not even really the 7 Noahide. So that's less of a Pauline invention. Paul would say you don't need any of the law. Jesus would say, you got to follow all the law if you want to be great in the kingdom of heaven. Whereas, like the authors of some of the other books, like the Book of Acts and whatnot, they kind of meet somewhere in the middle. And then, of course, you got people like James. James thinks that the law is good and should be followed. You need works and faith. Prometheus says, I'll always support your free speech. Hey, thank you. I appreciate that, Prometheus. Big W. And, we have to have, crowd funding for this type of free speech. Well, finally the vertical stream is up. Horizontal feels super weird. I'm sorry, Heathen. It was just one of those situations, buddy, where, we had starting out, we had a couple glitches. I thought that one of my newest method for sending streams to YouTube was like done. And to be fair, I did like a couple hour test on it. I just didn't bother to look at the end of the stream to verify if the audio was still synced up. And then that didn't work. So I thought, you know what, might as well, since the stream's already down, test 2 other methods. They were still partially broken. But nevertheless, I did, while we were waiting, fix the audio issue with the one method, which is honestly the one that we actually need. The other ones are like supplementary, like just in case. So that's actually good news. So on Friday, I'll be using the same method that I'm using now, and we shouldn't have any problems now that I know that it works. We just used it for the last almost 2 hours. 9 says, 9 cent 1 DZ Debate gifted membership. I really appreciate that, friend. And it looks like there's some more that got sent out, but I don't see who actually sent them. But it says people have received gifted memberships. So huge W for whoever sent that out. Funky, thank you for the super chat. Or Spooky Dookie, your audio on TikTok is clipping. Oh, that's on me. Let me see what the setting is at. It's not that bad. The mic's probably just too close to my face. It was clipping earlier. I did move it back. The problem is the guests on TikTok come in so fucking loud that half the time no one can hear me because my mic doesn't have loudness. Like, so the way my mic works is, it's a good quality mic. They do it on purpose. Is like, if you shout into the mic, it doesn't automatically make you louder. It'll capture your vocals, but it won't just blast your audio, right? And it does that for a reason, because it tries to keep a consistent volume. So the problem is when we get these callers in here where they're just fucking super loud and they're shouting in the phone and they're like 3 inches from their microphone, like it's hard to, hard to talk over them when your mic is quieter. So I just kind of turn it up inside of the software. Sometimes I turn it up too much, The Apex Heathen, good to see you again. Are we going to see Minar crash out on stream again? Rock hard for Doug and super gay for Justin. Well, Apex, he's come once after the initial crash out, but he's not going to come again. He doesn't want to come back. So I'd love to see Minar, but unfortunately, I don't think we're going to see Minar. He's trying to do his own thing now. He's got his own stream. Well, trying. Super lost to crash. Oh, your last one. No, I still had it, Herman. I just didn't read it yet, my friend. Thoughts on my clean Bible. Okay, so Your clean Bible, no Pauline contamination. So you are making a Bible with no Pauline stuff. Okay, Old Testament, 1 Peter, James, Jude, Mark, and the Coptic Petrine fanfics. I wouldn't include the Coptic at all, or any of the fanfic. I definitely, Peter, we don't know what's written by Peter. James, we don't have good evidence that it was written by James. Even the early church denied it. Jude almost certainly wasn't written by one of Jesus' brothers. However, I would say that Jude is a good representation of what the earliest Christians believed. I would say that. So maybe keep Jude, actually. And obviously keep Mark. That's the earliest Gospels. So that's what I would do. Evolution Ratchet says, do you have a document of how you created your LLM brand, your computer characteristics, and how you train it on your data? Yeah, I used, what was it? Anything LLM? Hold on. Yeah, anything LLM. And you don't have to use anything LLM. You could actually just use like Olama. But anything LLM is actually kind of automated. It'll actually do all of your indexing for you. So I created an Olama model. I could have used a paid model. In fact, maybe I should, but I'm really only using it to search for shit. In my library, I have a library of, I've got thousands and thousands of PDF books and whatnot in my library, and it basically just searches my library for shit. So that's what I did. There's other ways to do it. You can do Notebook LLM or Notebook LM through Google, and that's a good resource. Miss Megs, thank you for the super chat. Asking about a W-2 assumes they have a job. Most of these kids haven't worked a day and haven't paid taxes. You are right, and that's not the greatest test to see who's 18 or older, but we don't have a ton of them, you know? The next Shani says, I've always been curious how much of ministry as a whole you think is on the gag. Just a guess. Like, it's just a job and they manipulate people. Rock out for Doug. So there's a pretty healthy number of ministers in place who kind of know that things aren't what they thought they were before they became ministers, but they feel like they can use the religion for something good. I think you mean gig, by the way. Or in on the gag. Okay, I see what you're saying now. I don't think most ministers that are non-believers are there because they know it's fake, but they want to take advantage of it, right? The ones that do, you can usually tell. So if you've ever been to a church that was like purposely set up in like a poor neighborhood, and they do like two different offerings, and you know they preach about giving money all the time, that's a pastor who just wants money. They definitely are not interested in teaching people how to be Christians. So those are easy to tell. Also, if you see like a pastor who is really interested from the pulpit to make sure people know that they have books and DVDs that they need to buy, that's a problem. And then I would say televangelists. Almost every televangelist I've ever seen is an absolute fraud piece of shit. So that's what I would say. Verillion says, last child had just as much cognition as this 28-year-old IJS. The child, unfortunately, was just as intelligent as the last gas geek, which is one of the reasons why I kept him on, because he was at least trying to use his brain. But it's pretty sad when the adults can't do much better than the kids. Evo Preacher says, surely God could create different levels of punishment ranging from home detention to supermax. Yes, exactly. If God were just, he wouldn't just throw fucking everybody in the fiery pit, and he wouldn't do it just because you didn't believe in him. In fact, look at the Catholic doctrine on hell. They actually have a better one, by the way. This is one of the reasons why I didn't fear hell when I started to deconstruct. The Catholic version of hell makes way fucking more sense, and they do actually use the Bible to prove it. And it makes God out to be a little less of a monster. But nevertheless, the Protestant version of hell is stupid. Kurt, thank you for the super chat, buddies. Throwback to last night when we witnessed someone have a mental break. Good to see Venus. And good morning, Justin. When are you going for the PhD? Well, I'm hoping well, we'll see. I might be applying for 2027 school year. If not, it'll be 2028. And there's a reason I wanted to do 2027. There's a reason why I might have to push it back. It's logistical. And I can't say too much, but I would say, like many things, blame Carnage. Peace, loving cake. I'm reading through all of the Old Testament for the first time and just finished Judges. It's a fucking bloodthirsty book, my friend. Your stream has softened my reaction to the barbarism in it. Well, yeah. But I still wasn't prepared for the concubine carved into 12 pieces. That's a fucking rough one. Judges 19 through 21. Yeah. The poor Levite's concubine that got cut up. Think about, they paint the cutting up, or they paint the assault of the concubine as being something horrible, but then they don't, it never mentions the fact that the Levite was the one that like fucking threw her out of a house and said, go have her. Like, what the fuck? And like, look how callous he was in the morning. Because remember, they wake up. He doesn't fucking check on her all night, by the way. Wake up in the morning. She crawled back to the house trying to seek refuge, died on the doorstep. Dude opens the door and says, come on, let's go. What the fuck are you talking about, bro? It's the Levite in that story is such a piece of shit, and they don't say a single word of it. But the reality is the Levite's concubine probably never happened. It's a setup for some of the battles, some of the tribal warfare that took place, which some of that actually did take place. But the Levite's concubine probably wasn't a real thing. They just needed to drum up an excuse for the wars. Next it says, the true prophets are in the name of Doug. Absolutely. Hard as diamond, hard as stone. Gay for Justin. Justin's fucking rock, and rock hard for Doug. Hell yeah. Stay hard for Doug, y'all. Ashandri, good to see how typical of Christians to get fake enraged about irrelevant issues, calling his name. What the fuck? It's weird that they get bent out of shape over that, instead of addressing the actual argument. Go away, geek. I don't get it. I didn't make him say anything about Jesus. Why the fuck does he care what I say about Jesus? Like, Jesus isn't going to hurt him because I said something. And Waldo, good to see you, buddy. DZ Debates, just to inform you, I bought a membership, and it worked before the reset. But at some point, I somehow lost it. I blame YouTube, but thought you should be aware. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know what you mean by reset, but if you bought a membership, it will be there. However, the memberships don't always auto-renew, right? So if you signed up and you didn't auto-renew it, I forget how long it's good for, but you can sign up for like 1 month to 3 months. And if you don't auto-renew, then it's gone. You know what I mean? But nevertheless, let me know if I'm misunderstanding your super chat. Let me know. Well, I'll get it worked out, my friend. Don't worry. I'll make sure that you get what you need. So no worries there. And last one, Omnipotent Mango again need help in a debate. I'm in online. Is there an instance where the Hebrew word often translated to inheritance in Deuteronomy 32, 8-9 means anything other than an inheritance or inherited property? I assume you mean like achuzah is the word. Let me see what they're going to be using in here, and I'll tell you. Let's see. Deuteronomy 32, 8-9. What, let's see what we got here. All right, inheritance. Oh, interesting. Oh, this is an interesting verb, but let's see the actual word. If they have an object here. Boundaries, interesting. Portion, sure. There we go, with the inheritance. And let's see what we got here for the word. Okay. Nachla. Yeah, okay. So there's such a thing as an inheritance, and there's such a thing as property. Sometimes inheritance is property. Sometimes inheritance is just an inheritance. Sometimes it can kind of mean multiple things. So what we have is, I want to say, flexible. Typically, it means inheritance. Almost 99% of the time, it's going to mean inheritance. But it can mean specifically inherited property, depending on the context. And I think you'll find that a lot of the context is about inherited property or inherited possessions. So that's the way, like, a lot of translators are going to translate it, but typically it does refer to inheritance of property, or sometimes just something that you have in your possession. That being said, what's their argument here on Deuteronomy 32? Let me see why they would have an issue with Deuteronomy 32. All right, so give ear, O heavens, and I will speak. Let the blah, 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 the rock, his work is perfect, yet his degenerate children I love that word. Have dealt falsely with them, a perverse and crooked generation. Do you thus repay the Lord, O foolish and senseless people? Is not your Father who created you, who made you and established you? Wait, is he not? There we go. Remember the days of old, consider the years long past. Ask your Father, and he will inform you, your elders, and they will tell you when the Most High apportioned the nations, when he divided humankind, he fixed the boundaries of the people according to the number of the gods. The Lord own people was his people, Jacob, his allotted share. So I'm not entirely sure what the argument you're in is about, but the way this is going to read in the Hebrew is that in the ancient world, they thought that there was a God that was over every nation. That's why Psalm 82 depicts those gods being punished because they weren't doing their job. So the idea is that every god, basically, they were given some sort of nation as inheritance to look over and keep straight. And Yahweh's inheritance was the people of Israel. So that's the way it would read. You get another like smattering of this in Sirach 17:17, and it does kind of get mentioned as well. That's why like the Table of Nations typically comes out to 70 nations, because they believed that God had 70 sons. There were 70 smaller gods who were in charge of the nations. So why in Daniel it says that the archangel Michael, they call him princes, that this prince must make war with the prince of Persia and then against the prince of Egypt, because angels were the same thing as the smaller gods in just in a different time period, you know. Nevertheless, friends, I really appreciate being here. Thank you for sticking with me. I know starting out we had a couple of hiccups. That's on me. We won't have any Friday, but I really appreciate y'all. Love and peace. Oh, I'm going to be live in 2 days, and we're going to fucking cook hard. But tonight I got a hard limit. I got to get off. Thank you so much. Go support the rest of the community. There are people live right now. Go find them and support them as well. Bye, friends.